What's up, team? How we doing? Lunch commentary starting up right now. This terrible. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's stuff. I'm gonna find better ones. This stuff that me and Deck have to play. Or we will get just like smacked in the head by YouTube in 2 seconds. And like, you are now being blocked. Quit playing that music, or you can't go live anymore. Yo, Commerciante, what's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, and so forgot about this. That was back to the Lalatech that used to be in chat. She's using the Thanos crossover again today. Whammy! So yeah, hopefully you guys used that earlier. That was a great trade on Varu. It's the only thing I really looked at today. I came in, I didn't think I was really going to trade. There has been a little bit of fun today though overall. I would say just the LTRL, which is that popped last year, I want to say it was, and of course the Q play, the QRTEB play. Those were fun to look at for sure overall. You know, just to like look to see that actually happen again, which was nice to see. But earlier, essentially though, if you were looking at the Varu trade, it was a really nice trade to be had. And really, I just maintained this in a 5-minute time frame. And I was kind of saying this earlier. I didn't get anything up top. My entry actually was pretty much where I thought it would be, right around that 16 to. I didn't get in with the trend line crack, and I certainly could have. If you traded Varu, it was a great area. So I'll just kind of go back to Varu, break this down time frame by time frame. You see the trend line crack right there. You could have gotten in on a 1-minute time frame on that. You know, I've just unfortunately, like a dummy, have gotten away from this. And this is unfortunately, you know, I watched this in chat go right on up and hit this beautifully, crack from it. There's your entry point right there on the 1-minute time frame right here, and then you get the VWAP right after it. So it's, you know, which is, I know it's close to it, but once you got the boom boom, which you got all in, that was all in 1 minute. You got that. You know, you were good to go down more. So I didn't get over, in which I'll then pull up now back over to, of course, the Thanos crossover, what I was looking for, and I saw that right after, like, oh, you idiot, you keep forgetting about your old. So I was in the 3-minute time frame to begin. Well, there's a 1 minute to show you but I was in the 3-minute. Then I really moved over in the end just to make sure was the 5-minute at the same time. So entry for this and for the move back down, like for you guys, as you saw. Varu was just a good. I knew it was going to be a good short. Did you? And you guys, did you? How did Siga? Oh, and Siga actually ended up staying pretty actually, and there was the short to be had here earlier on. That's why I said watch for the short. I said that's why I kept alerting, watch for this to happen at any time, and it finally did, and I missed it. It actually stayed bullish in the end. You know, it didn't get the full crack off that we got from overall from kind of a Varu today. This is what we were looking for. I know everyone interested in Siga was looking for that. Just didn't get it. You're not going to get it every time, you know. Just not going to get it. So great with Varu, not so much with SIGA. What is up though, Commerciante? Did you see your see your DM? Let's see, send message. Oh no, I didn't see that this morning. That's so crazy. Nope, didn't even see that. So that I had to literally click on your name and send message. So if I never get one, just resend it again, because sometimes I wasn't in chat till probably until what today? I forgot what time it wasn't in chat. It's probably because it shows that I'm logged in, because I always am logged in. But yeah, I didn't get that. It's just not going to pop up until you know what I mean. When you log in, if you did it prior, it's not going to pop up all of a sudden. It's not going to be sitting there, unfortunately. But yes, if you want to, I emailed you back though. If you did, I did email you back. So if you do want to go today, right after I go live, we can go today. So check your emails and then respond back to this. I just DM'd you back. All right, what's up, Chichinator? The Chichinator. Everyone's an inator. What's up, Swole? Hello from. Oh man, jeez, I don't want to try to sing like that. I'm not in the mood. Amish, what's up, baby? How we doing? Yeah, LT, I'm sure it was. I bet you were. I always go back to that. I don't know if you remember Bad Boys 2, and the car scene when they were. It was the big first car chase scene where they're going across the bridge or whatever, and they're throwing all that stuff off the big truck, like boats and cars. I think boat was one of the last ones, but at Will Smith and Martin Lawrence from the Ferrari, and they're dodging everything, and it's like, oh wow, that's crazy. And then Martin, or I should say, I almost said Eddie Murphy because I keep wanting to say Eddie Murphy because you mentioned him earlier, Alex Fine. But Will Smith said, I bet you butthole puckered up on that one. And that's one of those ones where, yeah, you get in a trade like that and you probably go, oh, wow, okay. Heart starts racing, hands, maybe the armpit starts sweating a little bit more. I'm already kind of doing it for you. Like, now I'm thinking about you going in all those caves and I'm going, oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of these trades where, because we hadn't seen him yet. Now, if we had seen this, like, I'll go back to LTR, so I'll put it in a bigger frame so everyone can just see the daily over to the right. LTRPB, interested in trading this? Let's go back to, like, last year. You think today's move was fun? And it was fun, It was a fun. This was when things were fun. Last year, a little bit earlier, this is like I told you, team. Alex Vaughn, thank you so much. This was the stock last year, not only with, I keep telling you, with Kelly B, because I knew it. Okay, so Kelly B is the other one, right, team? Kelly B, right? This is the one I always go back to. Right, I knew there was another one, LTRPB. There was another one. I always forgot how to put this in. I'm like, and I should always try to be like Little Rock, but not Little Rock Police. I don't know, and anyway, because I'm, being from Little Rock, Arkansas. Anywho. You think that move's fun? I mean, look at last year's move. And then of course, look what we saw in 2020, because look what it did in 2020. In 2020, team, we saw this go from $8 up to team. Let me just show you how fun 2020 was. Was this 2020? Or is this 21? Yeah, it's 2020. Here we go. So boom, look at this. This is just nutso mode. Then we do it again, and this is what would happen in 2020. Wins was another one that I made a lot of money on. Now I'll go back to last year, but point being, you remember. I was like, I couldn't remember which other 5-letter ticker that I made a lot of money on when I made that $23,000 on 2 days. A lot of it was on Kelly B, and I couldn't remember what the other little bit of it was on. It was on this one, LTRPB. But look at this. This would happen in 2020, team, and I'm sure any trader that remembers trading in 2020, if you just started trading, you'd get round 1, round 2, round 3. 4 rounds, which is just nuts. I mean, and you knew at the end what to do to be looking to short, but the first 2 rounds, and that's what I say, round 3 after, what are we doing? Like anything for the most part in stocks, team, third bounce, third halt up, whatever it may be, you're getting risky to go long is my point. And so you need to worry about shorting at that moment in time. So 1, 2, good to go. 3, sketchy business. So this happened again last year, and so I was in on this on the the second wave up. So I knew there was a second ticker that I made a lot of money on at the beginning of April of last year. Because like I said, last year, April, I forgot, it was my biggest month ever. I have to go back on the books too. I know it was a 2-day stretch, made 23K. I forgot what I made on the month. It was over 30K. Anywho, thank you, Alex Fun. I remember now. So yeah, this is one of those, and it moved better than this last year, team. This is one of the last year, like, because you expected it. You expected it from 2020, mid in 2020. That first round when you saw it going, you just knew it was like you say to the moon, but it was definitely to the sky. You're like, this is probably going to get to 100. You're wondering if 75 or 100 was going to be the stopping ground, and that is no lie. It was. If I had the account size I had now and knew what I knew and had a little more confidence like I have now, I would have went in heavier than just. I only ever went in 100 shares, team. Literally with the 100 shares, I made $1,000. I mean, that's all you needed. So imagine if you went in 500 shares. So that's, I'm like, oh, if I just do 100 now. And I just, it's just one of those things where you learn along the way. And it's a good fun, I think it's a fun process. In the end, especially if you stick with it, I promise you, team, you will be happy that you did. Varu still just dumping off here too. Any questions, comments, concerns you want to go over, let me know right now. Chitch, yeah, that one's, oh man, that was I love Ferraris too, so I was like, yeah, I think that, what was that, I think it started with an M. Someone look that up for me if they want to. What was that Ferrari? I swear it started with an M. It was my favorite at the time. I was like, oh, I wanted it, and that loud roar, that, oh man, I was like, it sounds like a loud cat, just ripping through. Hey, AK, what's up? ORMP. This was D. Sarley short yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, ORMP, and it is. Nice little trend line play opportunity right here, team. So we do have a nice little M. The M has completed itself, but we're still holding the trend. You wanted this to fall through here, and that's fine. You can match it on the other side. We do see a lot of matchy. I always see this with stocks. So watch for this. You know, maybe let's put this line in just so you can see what I'd be doing right here, honestly. Marinello. It was, yeah, Marinello. It was fly on the wall. It was Marinello. It was the Marinello. That was it. Fly on the wall's right. It was the Marinello. Look that up, team. That was it. Oh, that was the jam. God. Oh, that was it, though. I remember now. But I'd put that this second line in right here. Somewhere kind of make it even-ish and see if that holds up true. And then you know the top... Every time, I swear. The top here is, you know, you'd put it somewhere about right here. But I would also put it, see if it matches to do this side. Maybe even does this, and then you'd be there now. But I'd play that kind of channelish that we're on. Put this as the purple. All those are probably sweet. The Modena was all those were sweet though. But yeah, I want to make sure that was. I'm pretty sure that's it though. Boom. We'll search Brave for it real quick. Yeah, that was it. It was like silver. Going back now, that just it looks so. It looked like it was funny. It looked like it was. I mean, it was 500. You know, it was pretty sweet. V12. Well, looking back on it now, I'm going like, it's not as sweet as, you know, just funny. I mean, it's still pretty slick. I mean, to be honest, let's just give it its due. This was pretty much about the one. I bet they were driving in that one. I just wasn't a fan sometime of what Ferrari was doing with their wheels for the longest time. Some of them I love when they started going to this 5-star spoke, but this is, I mean, that's just kind of, I'm sorry, that's kind of trash. We come up with something better than that. That's it right there. Ding, ding, ding. You know, questions like that. I can't. Those are the giveaway questions I do. Love it. But yeah, so play that right there, Philip. Ormp. Watch for the trend line. I know Detailer was in this yesterday. Great afternoon fader. We are kind of in this little, and I see this a lot with not only intraday stocks, but also when you're looking at the daily, as I always treat this as a daily. And look for this to continue to come back down. Now, see how we're, again, matching right here? Just look at this. This is gorgeous. Almost matchy-matchy. So watch for another red day tomorrow. If we get down below 737 at any point in time, this candle tomorrow, if it does form, remember yesterday I forgot what stock I called out right at the end of the day. It was for Love Chip, and I said watch for, and any of you guys that were short, watch for the same candle to kind of match on the other side, and then boom, you got that same kind of candle. You'll see that a lot also on the daily. So watch for, if you are looking for short is my point, and if you are looking for long, you don't want this below 737. You know, essentially that beautiful plane is holding it up. So the 737's holding it up. You know, that area-ish, 735, 730, whatever you want to call it, the bottom there. What's this low here of this day? 733. So you get my point, 735, 730. Or it's going to probably start dumping down. It may not go completely down to, say, right back to 6 or 585. May at like the moving average at 645 and stop. But you will have some movement down. I could see a matchy movement. Now, if we finally get back over here, say the 875 rule, right? Which we all know that. Thank you to Sean as well. Literally, you know, doing this, you know, as us always trying to study as much as we can. That was one of the first things he noticed forever ago. Again, it just always comes back to watching charting. Whammy, right here at 875. Right on the dot, essentially. You can see how all these candles are filling. Then we have one that goes above it. We just can't close above it, right? Nothing is opening and closing, opening above it. We do that, though, finally on a day. Now we could finally start squeezing out of this flag and move up to 10. You know what I'm saying? So it's on the edge of doing both. I've seen either, right? Because we are on this flag. I've seen a match go down, and if it goes down, in my opinion, it's going to go down. It's not going to be, it probably will get a nice big green or red day tomorrow. Now, if we close up today higher than, say, $9, 905, 910, especially anywhere in that range, woo, watch out. Or especially tomorrow, we're getting there and don't fail. That's the big thing. We don't want to fail there. You know, most times it seems like, though, especially recently, I'd imagine this fails back, though. I'd put money on the fail back. Let's see here. How about RYTA? This was another one earlier. RYTM. Yeah, RYTM. I had this up on my chart earlier. That and Box D kind of seemed to be the top two. And Siga moving to, I think Siga was the other one. Yep, Siga was pretty close to its high of day area. So these are just real quickly. RYTM, Box D. I'll go back over. Don't worry. I'll go back over to the Rhythm. And Siga would be the top kind of three as of right now, unless I'm missing something. But I will go, and essentially I'll get to Box D. So let me go back over, though. The rhythm of the night for Daddy Beam. Oh, yeah. So here we go. Boom. I'd call that the top resistance area, Daddy B. I'd come in here with those beautiful rose-scented doggy poop pickup bags. What do you want to call them? What would be like the technical term for those? My wife was there. She'd lay it to me. She's like, Josh. Anyway, but those are amazing. I love your bag. Still using them. But this is the wedge, I would call it, Daddy B. And right here, as it's moving on up, poo bag. Yeah, kiddo, right? Poo bag, exactly. Poo bags. Dog waste bags. There we go. That would be the proper term. Let's get it correct. Anyway, so 815 is your top resistance area. We know especially as much as I've seen try to teach you guys, close open candles above that area, you're most likely going to get your next pop up. Really, you can tell right off the bat where it's going to go to is going to be right about 850, 855, where we do have the 200-day moving average is right about right there, right about 875 rule, right about, no, it's a little bit lower than that. Where is it? Come on, fix 852. So that 850-ish area, and then we just kind of come into charting and go, oop, that does make a little bit of sense on top of charting, because then you can come in here, Daddy B, and go resistance, support, resistance again, support again, and then boom, try to get back into it right away in resistance. So that 845 to 855 area is going to be pretty tough resistance and probably the next leg up, in my opinion, for the rhythm in the night. All right, let's go poo bags. Yeah, poo bags. Let's go to Ascension Box D. Good morning. What's up, Love Chip? How we doing, though, everyone else? Chit, Ascension, Alex Vaughn, Deck coming over, Cadoble, Paula's Penny. Polly's Penny. So we go from Paula to Polly's Pennies. I love it. Active always coming over. Actively a fly on the wall, though. Thank you for coming over. What do we got here, though? Go back to Box D. Let's go over to one of the top movers here recently. XRTX, count it out. Outside linebacker, OLB. It's got a shot. It's got this weird kind of circus tent type look to it almost. They messed up on the second part, and they're like, man, who put this together? So if it gets back under, and this is a beautiful shelf, anyone interested in outside linebacker, the OLB, 117, that's more of course, a technical football term, OLB. But 118, 117, you can tell right there that beautiful shelf being built in. Look for the short, especially once it fully closes and opens underneath that, and the VWAP, you can tell. NCNA, super low volume play. Same thing. I'd just be hard to want to go long on these. And if you have any brokerage that you can go short, put your trend line in and look for the short there, short here. As long as it gets back under this 123 boom shelf right there, go to 120-ish, 120, then down to 115. Hasn't moved too much. And so you've got to understand that with a lot of these plays team, when they don't move too much, you're going to have these small little 5, 3, 5, 8 cent, 10 cent areas. So again, if you crack that trend line, you're going to look for this first little small area that was one support and is resistance before at 123. Here it could happen now. Below that, you can see all this resistance that was built in right around 120. Makes sense. It's a nice round number. There's your next little area you have to worry about. Then down to about this area right here. VWAP, man, almost want to say VWAP, Shmewap today. It has, it kind of likes it, kind of doesn't. I just think it's going to be right below it. I think you'll get a lower shadow is my point. I think it'll hold on the VWAP, and you'll think it's a VWAP bounce, and I think it technically is. But it's this that's going to really hold it up as well. It's helping it hold up. That you have this area at about 115, another nice whole round number. That also is a sandwichy area called a sandwich. Old resistance equals new support. Love learning that from Sean as well. Just call it a sandwich area. You know, you're going to find a lot of good support resistance through there. So you're going to find a lot of resistance in there. You're going to find a lot of support in there. And so that area is going to be nice for a bounce. And then, of course, down to 108-ish, maybe just a tad bit below 110. And so same, there's that for NCNA. Now down to Box D. Now down to Box D, FAFO Ascension. Look for this trend line crack, and I'm sure you've got to notice that Ascension. I've been teaching this now for 2 years in chat, and definitely a year plus going live, and I know you know that, baby boy. So this is where I would have been looking for the initial, and I know everyone else now, which I love. Sean talks about him. I love how Matt talks about him. I love it. That just, oh man, because the main thing, if we start seeing these, and we're all noticing this, because it is something to notice, because what I talked about earlier, how many times you bounce on a trend line, you're eventually going to fail. I never thought about going short. I only went long on Thinkorswim. It's not to say like an idiot, but I almost said like an idiot because I was kind of limiting myself. And I knew that because I knew all the top traders did both and definitely shorted heavily at times. I just didn't. And so finally one day I'm doing a recap. I'm going, I know y'all are this, okay, this story's probably burnt out to a lot of it. Maybe someone's hearing it for the first time, but I noticed, and I kept saying in my recap, as I would say in chat and alert to you guys, hey guys, the more Box D tests this trend line, it's probably going to what? It's going to crack. And then eventually I noticed how on a lot of these, not only would crack, especially if they were started to get into a exhaustion mode, volume was running out, mob had been with them for about an hour plus, trend line had lasted for an hour plus, we really got a nice good pullback in the end, you know? And so it doesn't just do a little micro pullback. We get that, and we get this, and then we're down to 195, and then you're like, damn, it's down to 190 now. That was a great short. Sometimes you lock up way too early, you know, as Matt always talks about, you pike it. That's fine, it's going to happen. Don't worry about that. Get a piece, as I always talk about, get a piece of the pie. Throw the K out. Just worry about getting a sliver of that pie. Go back to mean. Go. I don't know. You know what I mean? Don't let. As in work. Fix it and learn from it. But don't let that bother you. Because I know a lot of traders that eats them up. I'm like, don't let that bother you. You got a piece of the pie. Just learn from it. And trust me, the more you learn from it, just like all of us, you'll stay on longer. And it takes time. And it's sticking to obviously your technicals and what you definitely what you go back to seeing. And so I love how a lot of us are noticing this now the more we go up these trend lines to short that. And then you can tell the next area to short Ascension and anyone else interested. This little shelf's about the only thing, in my opinion, holding it up until we get to the VWAP and 2. We get back below this 208 area right here. I'm going to mark this as a light blue because it's really testing it, not moving up, kind of doing, as I talk about, just the simple terms, hammerheading it. Essentially, it's really putting a lot of pressure on all that support and all those bids that are in right there. And it's just chopping away at them. It's like I said, you're the army that wants to eat through the bigger army. And it's a bigger army at first, but that's fine. We're a stronger, more determined, more disciplined, more patient army. And even though we have less traders, we will be a better army than these other traders. And so essentially then you're just eating away. And then, okay, we lost that battle. Okay, it's all right. I'm like, hey, these guys we killed, they only killed 3 of our guys. We were disciplined. You know what I mean? You just think of it that way, and you're eating away, and you're eating away, and you're eating away. Eventually, what are you doing? You show up for the last battle or the next battle, and you think it ends up being the last battle. They all show up and like, oh crap, there's only 8 of us here. We still got, that's right, all 300. Well, maybe we've lost a couple. Let's just be honest. But you get my point. They're like, oh no, this isn't looking good anymore. Then you eat through that area, and so it's all about eating through those areas, and you're slowly doing that right now. So when I call it hammerheading, that's kind of what you're doing, or when I'm saying you're putting pressure on the support. It's what you're really doing right here. We're not popping back up really. Those bids are getting eaten away, and so the more this doesn't pop up, it's looking good for more of a short. So that's what you look for, those areas right there. In the 220s, your top resistance areas, you can tell. Boom. What else we got moving here? We got SIGA moving back up as well. So SIGA. So SIGA. LTRPB. Be very careful trading this the rest of the day. Team volume is very, very light on it. Really, I would say, honestly, if there's a play that's going to pop, between the two of them, I'd put money on this because there's a little bit more volume in it and a little bit of, at least a sustainability to get back to high of day, which is at 8. It's at, essentially 550. This right here with LTRPB, it's getting so far down from away from the high and getting back below this 9 right now. And the volume is just gutted. I honestly could see this getting one more dump back to, like, say, the $12 area, finish off and maybe pop back up to 14, but a chance to maybe get haltability again. I know this is easier to do that. I just think the likelihood, though, is going to be over on QRTEB. Kurteb. Top stock to watch, at least, is moving up right now. Is going to be Rhythm and the Rhyme, and it's going to be SIGA. So we have RYTM, so we'll put this on watch right here. As you can tell, it's starting to squeeze back up, and I'm going to put SIGA on watch down on my middle right-hand chart. Any other tickers you want me to take a look at, let me know, and I will 100% do it. Wow, team, got to show this off. I love it. Put your lines in and trade it. Almost daily, I'm showing you one of these. I was like, I didn't put this in today. I looked at really SIGA today. I traded Varut. I was going to trade SIGA. I know Renard knows that if Renard's over here, baby boy. I missed it. It was a small little quick short there. As you can tell, I missed the perfect Thanos crossover underneath this area. It was a great little quick. It was a quick short, but it was a good short. Enough to be able to get in a 3-minute time frame. You had 3+ minutes to get out. Team, look when I put this in. Resistance. It's still trying to be resistance now. I'm going to go ahead and show you right now when I put this in. 5/20, May the 23rd, over a month ago, in the morning. So it may have been, I don't know, maybe I was doing one of those morning sessions. Oh, I could have been doing one of those morning sessions is why. But right here, in pre-market at 6:55. That's 6:55 Central Time, so that's 7:55 Eastern Time. That's when I put that in. That is beautiful. Right here, you can tell. And I don't know what this endpoint, okay, that's when, okay, big endpoint. You can tell when I put it in, though. Beautiful. I love it. That's crazy. All right, any questions on anything else you want to go over? I think those would be the top 2 stocks to watch. RYTM Rhythm here. I think I'm just going to keep calling it that. Oh, it is. That's what I thought. I thought it was Rhythm Pharmaceuticals. So Rhythm, we'll have that up to again, team. Remember this area, 845, 850 is next. I will go ahead and just put this in above it. So it's already in at that area to see when we get there, we get a resistance. Pretty prime in that area, I would say, too. I have not looked. I will do this, though, real quickly. I'm surprised I have not. Oh, it's not that big. Or it is pretty big, I should say. It is pretty big. It's 35. Most of them have it at, it's either 35.50, 50, 35, 42. So I would say Rhythm has a float of around 35 to 45 million team. So 35 to 45 mil is the float on RYTM. Now that song's stuck in my head. And say, oh, AV, I just was getting back to your mail because I had tons of messages lined up. I just realized at the bottom. I hardly ever look down at the bottom of my screen anymore. I always miss them. I feel like an idiot. I'm like, no, I just... Anyway, but yeah, that's awesome. So, and what'd you... So, AV, you end up green on that, you said, in the end, right? On the trade with LTRPB? Yeah, because I left chat there finally in that last 30 minutes. I finally got out. I had to let the dogs out and get some stuff done. I was like, because I sometimes get glued in here too. Even days when it's not even that busy like today, I just get glued into, even if I'm not trading, I like looking at other plays, alerting for you guys. It's just, like I said, it's kind of like a video game. I get glued in here. I'm like, how have I been in here this long? Awesome, Alex. That's awesome. That's so funny. I was like, no, I just noticed that you even wrote me. I was like, no, how did I miss this? Like, I never looked down here. Polly's Pennies, QRTEB short, how low? We'll go back to QRTEB. It's like I always have to put it in. I would say watch the two things here, Polly's Pennies. If you're interested in this play, put this trend line in right here. Also, Russian, or not Russian, but German came out like right before I went to bed last night, and I like passed out to it. Beer Fest. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Beer Fest before. Probably the worst of the Broken Lizard movies, but still has some funny moments and the people that are in it. But I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I'm talking like those guys. Crack of the trend line right here. Watch for a move down to the $5 area. It'd be in my opinion, where you'd be looking to. Polly's, anyone else interested? Somewhere around the $4.95 area, like him. God, Will Forte, right? I think that's his name. He is hilarious. Last Man on Earth, right? He did end up doing Last Man on Earth, right? Swole Granny, oh god, like those guys. I mean, you know, I have German in me, but like they're doing those old school deep accents and just being idiots, and I'm like, oh, don't talk like those idiots. Then you'd be doing the terrible accents that everyone makes fun of, that I do. I'd be just right with all the rest of them. I'd say that's a top resistance. This would be your bottom support you'd look for to get back to in the end, Polly. And anyone else interested through the trend line crack back down. There's a little bit of support if you want to zoom in a little bit right here. You can tell this area right here around, I'll call it 515 does have a little bit of support. So 515, watch for that area. You can see it's moving back off this trend line. Now, if you want to go for a short at 6-ish again, I understand that, but just be careful. Remember, I always say, first time back in resistance, good to go for a short. Second time back in, you're definitely starting to risk the biscuits. We know third and fourth, we already know that, right? But second, I give you a yellow, not a green for a go, not a red, do not do it. I give you a yellow, pass with caution, right? So maybe go half share size as normal. Know that you don't, your profitability zone's running out here. You are getting tighter in this wedge. You know me, I like it running up the wedge further because that means it's going to be a further trend line crack. So that's what I look for and shoot for. I'm all about safety. You know, I'm gonna jump out of the parachute, I'm gonna jump out of the plane with 8 pair. First off, I'm never jumping out of a perfectly good plane. But if somehow Skychint pushes me out or whatever, and it's fine, all good, I'm gonna make sure I have like 8 parachutes. I no lie, it's gonna have like eight of them. I mean, I'm gonna come down like half a mile an hour. I mean, it's going to be scary then. I may have to cut some of them because it's going to be too slow. But I'm going to make sure something opens. But I'm just a safe trader. But yes, does that make sense, or baby boy? Swole Granny of the man. I just literally laugh. You got to Polly's Pennies. All right, any questions, though? There we go. There's a short for that. Dog log bags. I like that, the truth or not. I just saw that, too. Dog log bags. Alex Trades. Sorry, man. If I miss those, I always scroll back up. That's why I'm glad I do. You know, Alex Trades. It's crazy. We have Alex Trades and Alex Vaughn. Just yell at me again. And then be like, hey, you're talking about these other trades. What about mine, my friend? So, getting in. This is a nice squeeze mode. You know, I would say watch for this right here. I'm going to put the downtrend line in. I mean, it's perfect. I love how a lot of these upper echelon, but, you know, large cap blue chip plays a lot of the time, you know, majority of the time, way more so than lower tier, lower cap plays. They run with this beautiful, as I always call it, technically sound movement. That's what you're looking for. Trend lines are super easy to put in. You can trade within those trends. it makes it a lot easier to trade. So I'd play the squeeze, essentially, is what I'm then would be getting into. You know, marking your trend line, easy to see right there in a 3-minute time frame. Downtrend, pretty nice to see. Squeezing, that's what we call it, squeeze, because you could, it's like you're squeezing, anything, you're squeezing something. And so that's the squeeze mode right here, getting tighter and tighter and tighter in a wedge, squeezing. Watch for a squeeze up over 720.60. You're probably going to see a move up to probably 722 or 723.40-ish area. Then possibly if you get over this 725 overall, you could really start booming again. Trend line crack right here. If this trend finally starts squeezing for the downside, you really don't have, that's the thing, you have a little bit more on the top side to move through. The bottom side is there's more room to run, essentially, to where if you get through the trend line crack, the only thing I'm really worried about would be this area somewhere right around anywhere from around the low area right here, 712.40-ish up to about, we'll call it 713.40-ish, somewhere in that range of holding. And it gets through that, there's really, we come all the way close down to the VWAP, because the only thing that's holding up chart-wise is this right here as well. So, you could have a lot of room to fall to the north or the south side versus north side. You do have room to run, but you have a little bit more to get through versus south side. There's really only about one area. That makes sense. Alex trades. 8 will pull you up with a little win. Fall. Well, however many. So how many do I need, Paul? Like maybe 3? I won't open all 8 either is my point. I didn't mean to really say that. I was like, I'll just need 8. So the first one doesn't, okay. The second one, okay, it doesn't. The third one, what in the hell's going on here? Who did this to me? Like, at least I'll have 8 to pull is my point. That's kind of what I was going for. Yeah, man, active trader, that's, if I ever do it, active trader, that's one of the areas I'd want to do it at, my friend. 1 trillion% is down. You know me, and I know you, right there with you. I'd come with you. Man, that area is just to see the coast and then the water, like both, oh my gosh, right there on the coastline. Wow. Because I've gotten my drone up before, and that's one of the first things I did with my drone. I got it literally a few years ago before I went to Florida. And the first thing I did, because I was scared to fly it, because I about did already, and I did in Dallas a couple times. I about hit a couple of trees. I was like, yep, not doing that anymore. I'm not that good yet. I'll keep practicing open areas, but point being, of course, you're down there. There's nothing, or there's no trees. So, man, that was one of the first cool drone shots I got, was going up on that, on Santa Rosa Island there. Oh my, because it's an island, so you have the bay on one side, you have the ocean out to the left, or it's the Gulf, but still looks like it's pretty much an ocean. And yeah, then the coastline. It was wow. That would be where I'd want to skydive. Because I could at least look at the view the whole time, and I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I'd be like, I can actually, most times that's what you're doing anyway in the rush. You probably kind of get over that once you get out. I'm sure it's just amazing. One of those things I'll never forget as a kid. My dad, it was so funny. I'll wrap myself out. He used to be scared and terrified. I've brought this up before, of roller coasters. Well, before the heights thing, not heights. Back in the day, I loved heights, but roller coasters for some reason I just didn't. And my dad, we went to a couple. Anyway, there was one of the last times it happened. I remember, we were at Six Flags. Over Texas. I think it was Six Flags. One of the Six Flags. Maybe it was the one in San Antonio, I think it was. But he had to ride. He rode all the rides. It was me, my mom, and him. He rode all the rides by himself. I felt so bad. I rode a couple of the smaller ones, but I was like, and I finally got over it. But when I finally rode the first one, that was my point. I was like, what was I ever scared of? And then I just was like a roller coaster maniac. I wanted to go to any theme park that was within a drivable area. I was like, I want to ride roller coasters. It was funny though. So I'm sure the same with skydiving. I'd get out and I'd be like, oh my god, this is beautiful. Alex, you're welcome, boss. Yeah, I know, right? I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actor trader. Yeah, and I've seen some of those the roller coasters. And that's why anymore I don't do them as big as I used to, because of course now I'm older. It's so funny. I'm sure you know this. Actually, the older you get, the more you start thinking about those things. Or I am more vulnerable than I was when I was 20. When 20, you're pretty much you are Thanos. You feel like you're inevitable. You just nothing can beat you. But yeah, it's one of those things where now I always see those kind of horror stories where someone's trapped on it or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to ride those here and there. What's up, Dempster? Man, save Dempy. Dempy, all right, we'll be up there in just a minute, Dempy. I'm going to send the AK47 over. It should be up there in about an hour 47. I got that thing running on nitrous, of course me, I'm hanging out with the boys from Fast and Furious, so that thing's rocking and rolling. You got to have this whole 747 by yourself, man. It's a pretty big thing. I gutted it out. I have a nice king-size bed in the very back. You know, a little bathroom attached to that. If I say little, it's a pretty big, nice master bath. You know, you got the soaking tub next to the walk-in shower, and of course the nice, beautiful lounge area right in front of that. And that's just if you want to invite people in. Oh, that's locked in for you, baby boy. You know, you got a nice. I think it's like a 172 inch. I forgot what the you know, the screen is. It's one of the biggest you can get. Yeah, 172 inch. It's just a weird number. It's really crazy. Surround sound, all in your room. You know, it's all right there. Then you get out to the rest of the plane. It's cool stuff. I'll let you. You know, it's up to. It's coming right now. Oh yeah, Alex Fine. Yeah. That's some of my biggest rushes. Well, I'd love to one day, and hopefully I'll get the chance to. I don't know how. I guess you got to be like a famous person watching Tesla for the squeeze here. Still, I'm just kind of watching that. Nothing else. All these other plays are kind of rolling down. Boxty got boxed in the face. You want to say literally, almost sounds like it. Boxed. Here we go. All you shorters, this could be coming up. We hadn't pushed too much. I'd say Rhythm and the Rhyme's really your top stock to watch to see for a squeeze. Although that float's kind of killing it. Not the smallest of floats. And I've seen floats at 35, 45 mil move as we looked at for RYTM. It's not doing it as of right now. But I want to get into two things. Love to get into an IndyCar one day, Alex Fine. Would love to get into like an IndyCar, an F1 car. Obviously, an F1 car would be either one of them would be sick. Or I really would love to get into like a Blue Angel or one of those, like, you know, usually they're not going to put you in one of those. They put you in kind of those like lower tiered planes, but jets essentially though. That would be that's the ultimate goal. Not that I you know, wish I'd love to fly one. Geez, that'd be learn how to fly. But then I'd have to go to pilot anyway. Get my point. But just to be in one of those and then them pretty much make me pass out, which I would do my best not to. Maybe try to take some courses beforehand. Like, nah, you're not going to get me. And then I'm back there like this. They're like, yeah, we got him. He's out. Nice. There we go. Yeah, an AV. That's all. Yeah, AV. Man, Alex, when you get, are you getting yours sometime soon? Save Dimpy. I'm going to get some shirts made. Hashtag save Dimpy. We're going to get that made. Hashtag save Dimpy. And Dimpy, it's coming. Dimpy, the jet's on its way. Yeah, I'll figure out the skydiving thing. I'd love to do that once though. Let's see, AK. I was just wondering your thoughts on the what though. I have never heard this, Sam Sneed. So let me look this up. Never heard of this before. Let's see. There's a technical analysis approaching the navigating the financial markets based on the study of the relationship between demand and supply. Okay, yeah, using the demand and supply. I don't use the demand. I mean, I think that's essentially is what you're going to be using there is that demand and supply. I mean, I'll look into this a little bit more. It'll be fun just to kind of, you know, always like diving into stuff, just kind of like I have with the MACD a little bit more and reading it a little bit more. But yeah, you know, I've not really used this. I know Matt does, and I know he just kind of, it seems like he just labels it down as supply and demand. So I'll have to, yeah, kind of watch something on this or see something more about it. But no, I do not use this method, so I can't give you thoughts. No, yeah, no thoughts. I can't give you thoughts. And that's what I thought. And that's what, yeah, Alex was like, it's going to have to be in this market, no way. Oh, no, I was saying this market, but I think that's what I'll read in that just real quickly because all I did was just, you know, re-highlight it and then do the search for it. And that's, you can tell it's more for daily time frames, or maybe if you want to use weekly, but I'd use that for the daily, it looks like 100%. And you know, and I even saying, you know, you're like, what's so funny? Almost, I think that would make sense in this market. It would probably hard to maybe even use that. I mean, you use it at times, I'm sure. Especially you can sell that. I would say well, I would go with anything that runs with the SPY. So like Tesla, all the blue chip, larger cap plays. Those are going to run much easier. I would not. I don't know if this would even. I would see. I'd like to dive into. I don't know if this would even apply for penny stocks or lower tier plays. Just how choppy, especially like this year, Siga, Veru, and a lot of these stocks that just pop up and then come right back down. Oh, yeah, I bet Treetop, Josh. Oh, what's Treetop? So I saw this just for YouTube, but man, I should have shared it. So Sam Sneed, sorry, I can't put any thoughts into that, boss. I hate when I can't contribute, but I now want to look into it and try to. But I saw this cool, this guy was hang gliding, right? So he's hang gliding or paragliding, whatever he's doing, but he has his foot out in front of him. Well, I guess it's one of the ones that you sit in. It has to be one of those ones you sit in, but not with a motor. It couldn't have been, I obviously wasn't, because all you see is his foot. And he's hang gliding, you know, and all of a sudden it's so cool. There's flying beside this bird. I was like, that is so crazy. This would be awesome. But yeah, I bet flying's awesome, man. Love to fly one day. I mean, I'd love to get my, yeah, that's the thing. Then if I still would love flying, but then I'd be like, have that, be like, okay, I'm Tom Cruise and Maverick. All right, honey. And she's like, no, you're not going to the Air Force or the Navy right now just to fly. And like, I fly it once. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I retire. I thought your friend had one though, Alex. Yeah, I thought for some reason you were trading your car for one for some reason. You were getting that one. I thought you were getting that one though or something. I thought you were getting that one, I think is what it was. The red one. I thought you were getting that one. I think that's what it was, I remember. I can't remember. Obviously I can't remember, but I thought it was something along those lines. You were getting your friends or trading your friends or getting that red one. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I know. You hell no, not in this market. Yeah. Well, unless you're like, you have 100, you have that almost six figure. Unless you got that 6-figure account. I meant to say unless you have that 9-figure account, as in when I was thinking 6 figures, I was thinking you make $100 million a year, not 100,000. But yeah, if you make like $100 million a year, or you're Tom Brady, you've accumulated that much money if you just want to get one. Boss, is there any reason around SPYs even gapping up? Let's go back to the SPY real quickly as we watch kind of Rhythm slowly work its way up. Oh, I just say from the drop-off, we see this a lot, just kind of an overreaction. I think this was the overreaction. I think this is kind of more of an overreaction. What I call it, just because we see it a lot of the time. I mean, just simply put, you get a nice dump off from 2 days anyway, for the most part, how it's come down from its highs at I say highs, but from the pushback up to highs recently, up to 390. 375 is a pretty big pullback. That's a decent-sized pullback. Nothing crazy, but it's decent over, a 2.5 day period. So I just think it's a correction back up. I bet, in my opinion, if we look in tomorrow on Thursday, we'll probably have a red day, in my opinion, and probably maybe make this more of an M shape. As you can tell, we're starting to make just a perfect M shape here on the daily. And watch for this movement back under. I'm telling you, if it gets back under 375, especially these lower wicks here at about 370, that's what I thought, right about 373. This thing's probably going to dump back down, and that's where we're going to see our low, like Deck talks about. We're going to see that low touch again, most likely. That makes sense? Maven the Raven, I will smack you down. I just feel like that's I need to get better at those. I don't want like those little reels. What are those little, like a wrestler does? Good, Samson. Yeah, sorry, boss. That makes sense though, Raven. I mean Maven. Now I'm calling you Raven. And Maven, is that a Jeep, JK or it looks like a JT? Could be a JK though. Maven the Raven. Yeah, see, I thought for some reason, y'all were trading. I don't know where I put that together. Y'all were trading, or you were going to get that when you were selling yours to get that one, because you're going to get, that's why, because I thought you were going to get a good deal from it, your friend. Not that he had a lot of miles on it, but he was going to sell it to you for a good price just to kind of make even on the deal or something, not go crazy and sell it like, well above, as in, say if he could sell, because he owes just say 140K, but then sells it for 200K, not do that to you. It's the rhythm. Man, that song is still stuck in my head. Dang it. Well, yeah, right, Alex one. I was like, even if you have a 7-figure account, buying a Ferrari, like, maybe leasing one, just for fun. If you finally made 7 figures a year and you were at that age, you're like, forget it. I saved money. I'm good here. I'm just going to lease one. If you can you even lease a Ferrari? I've never even looked into that. Can you lease a Ferrari, team, or you have to buy one? That's why I don't even look at that stuff. Some people do, like, right off the bat, like, ooh, can I even lease one of these? I'm like, I am not, I'm not teasing myself with that yet. Not even going to try. I've never even looked into that. Put the trend line on the SPY as well, team. I know, yeah, the rhythm is a dancer. You like that one? Oh, my gosh. Yeah. What's that one song? This is the one I have in my head that I can't remember. How's it go? This is the one. This is the song I have in my head that I want to keep thinking. I was like, how does it go? This is the other one, though. Oh, this is still playing. This is the one. I was like, what's the one I keep? I'm like, how does it, the rhythm of the night? How's it go? This is the one I kept wanting to sing. I was like, how does this go? The rhythm of the night song? Get to my point! I don't want to get YouTube to kick me off. There it is. To the beat of the rhythm of the night. I was like, how does that song go? It's like stuck in my head. I was like, how does this song go? That's how it goes. Okay, I got it now. I remember. But yeah, rhythm is a dancer. That's the other one. I was like, how it's the rhythm of the night song? I was like, I know it was like a fun song. It was like more upbeat. I always get a little music, maybe food in with AK during the lunch hours, team. Sorry, it comes back to the past. I'm telling you the past, right? There we go, Raymond and Polly's. Look at you guys. I knew you knew what I was talking about. Finally, once I finally got it out, I was like, how does it go? So I always do that with my wife, and she was like, you weren't even close. I was like, I know it wasn't close, but I knew that was the name of the song. I was like, sorry, I'm way off. Samsonite, Swami. I don't know. Jeez, one of these. Spy looks like a turtle head. Let's see on the daily. Let's go back to the spy. I like to. Let's see. Does the spy look like a turtle head? Let's see Zach Hopper. Oh, it kind of does actually. What's weird is almost the day today almost looks like what we've done recently. You know, with the movement. But yeah, anyway, looks like a turtle head. I think I knew where you were going with that one, Zach Hopper. RYTM. Moving up here, team. We're going to get new high of day for RY. And we do. Boom, 846. Team, it's going to be a little bit slower mover. You can tell right now, even just looking at this overall, going to be a little bit slower mover, in my opinion, is going to be RYTM. That float's just really taking in. It's got the mob and really moving well as far as volume is concerned. Not crazy volume, but decent. Now, again, if this was million, because we got a 3-minute time frame, so again, let's change this to 3 mil, 4 mil, 6 mil, 8 mil. Of course, that'd be huge, but just imagine if it was that, yeah, it'd probably be moving a little bit more so. Even if it was just like 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil, and the top was 3 mil every 3 minutes. We're just not getting that in a 3-minute time frame. Our biggest candles are right at around 1 million shares traded. That's not a lot, and you can see when we get 1 million shares traded in a minute, that's your pop from it. Just kind of doing the math is what I always do, and I did this in my volume lesson, and always go over that for you again. But this is what I do in doing the volume and looking at it. Just kind of going back, going, okay, if we get, this was 885,000 shares traded, and look at the movement on it. Now, of course, that means there was a lot of selling. So you could tell, even if we do then still get a lot of volume moving in, we could get kind of a fake out breakout is my point. And then do we continue to move on from there? That's just all if the mob stays in. Main thing is volume needs to really start moving back into this. Could start creating a head and shoulders here at the top with a little bit of a shoulder, and here comes the head forming. That's all I remember. I'll be one of those. That's all I'm telling you. Until I listen to it more. Now it's going to be on my list, and I'm going to listen to that. Boom! There's your look. Here we go. Here's a little bit of a pop. All right, now does the volume stay back in on this? So RYTM, and I say a little bit of a pop. That's why I say that it's not moving too crazy. But that's going to be your right here. See what I'm talking about? And now watch this overall candle. Let's see when this formed at 45 after. So 3-minute time frame. So 48. So we still have 2 minutes left. I bet this candle now with this pop coming in, we end up getting up close to about 800,000 shares traded in this minute, or this minute in this 3-minute time frame, I should say. What's up, Jay Chan? How we doing, though, boss? Let's see. A mob hunter wants to get better at tracking the mob. What is the best way to tell the mob shifts are going? Best way to tell where the mob shifts are going. Well, the first thing you want to do, mob hunter, is always eliminate what stocks are kind of dying out. So that's why I'm always kind of looking at 4 in the top 4. If you can ever look at 4. Now, of course, that's when you're not looking at trades. If you're just looking at a trade, I tell most traders you only want to look at 1 or 2 tickers, because if you start looking at 4 tickers, especially during the day, earlier on, it's big time, you're going to miss trades left and right because you're not honing in on one. And so the best way to do it later in the day, in my opinion, would be to do what I do and looking at 4 at once, and then determining which 3 or 4 or 2 have the best chance to get the mob, and even early in the day. And that's what you're in the best way to determine where the mob shifts are going, whichever one just didn't get it. And so it's kind of a process of elimination, really. In the end, we don't ever really a lot of the time it'd be like this, like SIGA doesn't have it right now, which you can tell just looking at this charting. Here's a great example that if this pops, because it's squeezing so close and getting to the high of day area, this has a good potential to what? Garner the mob again. And so that needs to be high on your list. Now, if it all of a sudden falls back off to, say 13.6, boom, bye. It's not on your list anymore. You don't need to worry about it. That's why these 2 are the top 2 that I think have squeezability and mob potential. As we know, I think most of the mob right now is over on RYTM. And then secondarily, we have SIGA, in my opinion, at least as close as what could squeeze as of right now, with Box D coming in at a close third. Because we are close to the high of day area, still holding support areas. This still hasn't cracked back that beautiful support I put in there. It's just crazy how these areas hold in perfectly. And so this one's still on watch. But I would go with, of course, I think we know for the most part, RYTM, and then we're going to go with SIGA. And then as of right now, you got to go, okay, RYTM has the mob, but it's really not mob. It's kind of mob, but it's not full mob, right? And I was close. Dang it. I said it would get 800,000, would it get like 600,000? I was close. So we got close there. But that's kind of how you tell. It's really hard to switch back and forth and be like, well, here's where it's going to go next. It's almost a process of like almost earlier with Siga, Redbox, Varu, those days where you know, okay, this one ran, watch out for maybe one of these other two to run, especially if you go over to it, notice it's uptrending, has a chance to squeeze when volume can move into it. That's how you really notice that those mobs are going to shift to those plays. It's almost a process of elimination. It's hard to say 100% who's going to get the mob and who's not. Jay Chan, that's awesome. That's good boy. Good God. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, and I bet Rich, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Rich Green, yeah, that was a big problem for me at first, too. You know, Rich Green, that's why I tell most traders, you know, like at the early part of the day, you just try to have one, if not two on. I got to the point where I can watch four, but I wish a lot of traders would just do something like this and just watch two stocks at once. You know, just do something like this right here. Just watch two stocks at once. And that way you're just watching two, and then put them in, you know, if you have your certain setups you want to look for, if you want to do the, you know, the Thanos crossover, if you want to put those kind of indicators on there, you know, the more you're, or if you just look at one, you know, and if you do just do this right here, like I do, when I'm just looking at just one ticker, when I'm just looking at one ticker team, I don't move around. Sorry, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I was trying to zoom in. It wouldn't let me. I'm not moving around. Oh, wow. I just noticed this too. PLRX. I knew this would be a great short twice today. It hit 1940 the second time, but that 1925 area is pretty tough. I'm just looking at one. You're not doing this. Okay, PLRX. Okay, well now Orb's moving. Okay, what about, oh no, they just said QTRP. Okay, now this one's moving. Oh crap. Okay, now they said KZR's moving. Oh gee golly, now they said Varu's moving again. Oh, okay, now back to PLRQRT. Well, don't do that. You're never gonna trade. Ooh, sorry team. You're gonna be racing around like a damn rat the whole time. Find your top 2 or 3 plays that make sense to you, that run best to you, and stick with those at first if you can. And here's a simple one. Just go to AMD every day. If I don't know how big your account size is, but if you're just trying to get good trades in, this run's really pretty technically sound. And then all I'd do is come over to the trade tab, and then I'd put AMD in, and then I'd put the SPY in. If they're running like almost technically sound that day, then I'm just going to look at the 2 of those and trade them in the same time frame. So we'll go like a 5-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame. Make sure they're lined up at the same area. So we'll go back to 720. Go back to, well, whatever. We're close to it. Whatever. You get my point. We'll go to wherever this one's at. 745-ish, 74, whatever. So they're lined up together, and you can trade them together. It makes it real easy. And so that way you can see, okay, here's a nice little top shelf area right here. So underneath 7840, I'm going to go for a short, especially if the SPY starts coming down. Whammy, right? Trend line crack, okay. If you want to go for it up top, you start getting in. Okay, it's not cracking. Okay, now I know this is bullish. Okay, now I know the shelf's forming. If you even get in to begin with, notice things, adapt and adjust if you get in. Because sometimes, oh, this looks like a great trend line crack. Oh, and ends up not being one. Well, then notice the shelf that's forming, and then know you can get, you know. So move over to maybe an AMD. If you can't trade AMD, go over to F. If you can't trade F, go over to NIO. I know they're slower movers. They don't move a ton, but they're going to be technically sound. They're going to move. Look what I haven't changed, but they're going to move with that ticker that's right below it. It's called the SPY. So go over maybe, or go over, I know Zach Hopper's talking about this all day, every day. SQQQ, look at this running inverse of it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. TQQQ running with it. Quid, or QID, I think is it. Yeah, Q, that's one that runs inverse of it. So, team, it's very, very easy to trade, you know, these tickers right there. So now if you want to trade penny stocks, I totally understand. Then here's what you need to do. If you want to trade penny stocks, they're more volatile, totally 100%. You're going to start the day going, what was moving? You know, you're going to go with one of those. We'll just go like today. You're looking at PLR. Then you're staying on PLRX, and you're not going anywhere. You're staying on PLRX, and you're staying, okay, you're going like, okay, Varu was moving. I remember Varu was popping up at the start of the day. Where you at? Varu, what you going to do? You're just sticking on Varu to start the day, and you're just sticking on, this is it. You're trading these 2 tickers. That's it. End of story. Done. And that makes it so much easier on you, so you're not doing the runaround game. Hopefully that helps, and you understand that. I did that at first. I did the whole... I did try to look at 4, and then I do the runaround game. I'll flip this one out. Okay, that one's in. Okay, this one's out. Now this one's in. I never even take trades. I'm just flipping stuff in and out, watching trades go by. It's killer. Just stick on one or two charts. Look at this. I'll win in past chart history. Whammy. Come on down. Come on, form a little head and shoulders here. Almost formed one right here. We definitely could form one because I like this up top head. There's a much nicer head and shoulders forming right here, team. Right into past chart history. Hit the moving average. Then you know, a double whammy, as I always talked about. Then it has that big sandwich area. What was once resistance, then was support for a while, then is resistance again. You got it, Mob Hunter. Mobsters. Rich, it's all right, man. That's all. Rich, I kind of went on that tangent for you, baby boy. I understand. Yeah, Mob, exactly. 100%. Find trades 2, 3 at most. Stick with those. You know, like right here, Siga. oh, Siga, just squeeze and just at least to like this hive day area and show that, hey, what I was talking about. You just find, and then that's what you're going to learn overall, and then you're going to see that with the charting. Go, hey, if there's a ticker that's going to squeeze or move right now, if I'm looking all over the place, besides the spy, I mean, that AMD's just rocking and rolling, is going to be Siga. Box D volume's too low. I just don't think it has the almost said the vulnerability. I just don't think it has enough momentum overall. It's definitely going to be vulnerable in the end, because I think it's going to start cracking off here, honestly, in the end, because I think it's getting that little archy, top-heavy look. But it's going to be ROITM, and then now most recently, since that's starting to fade off, ROI, right into this resistance area, fading off, what has the potential to squeeze next? If you go down and do the process of elimination, and even if you want to do that real quick while you have time when it's slow in the day, run through these tickers real quick and go, yep, if there's one that's going to run right now, it's going to be blah, 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 run all the way through them all, and it's going to be Siga, And so that's what I want a lot of traders to concentrate on 100% in the end. What I'm going to do, though, for sure, team, actually right now, I'm going to take this off. Just takes up too much of the chart over here for me, in my opinion, and for you guys, so we can actually see the chart a little more clearly. What's up, R-Dub? AK, where's Dippy at? Dippy, got probably about 45 more minutes, maybe about 50 more minutes, and that jet should be there. It actually can hover, too. It's got hovercraft mode, so it just will hover right over your station. So you just come right on it. It actually drops a ladder down in for you, baby boy, because I know you like, going kind of back to the firehouse. I thought a ladder would be cool that comes down. R-Dub, AK, your thought, okay, your best, you're the best. Thanks for breaking down. Oh, trades. I don't have trades until Friday, so just, oh, awesome, man. I appreciate that. 100% appreciate that, man. Renard, baby boy, sorry for being late. Had to get a COVID test for the office. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good, Renard. I brought you up earlier. Your Siga trade's looking good, though, isn't it? Had that quick short I talked about earlier. It was short-lived and actually held up. I was surprised it didn't pull a Veru and pull back even more, in my opinion. And you're looking good there, baby boy. Alex Vaughn heading to lunch. Grab you some tacos. Alex Vaughn, by the way, you probably already left. Man, you inspired my tacos. I forgot yesterday was Taco Tuesday, so I did have a sandwich for lunch. But remember, Alex, remember when I said yesterday I'm heading out to get some food at lunch, or before I went live for lunch, you put a taco in there, or whenever I said that you put a taco emoji. I was like, oh, it is Taco Tuesday. I got to get some tacos. And so after I went and got the shots done to the two beautiful, my babies, my lovers, they love one. It's little, they got married. That would be Miles and Darla. We literally got them like 6 months apart, team, and they literally are born about 6 months apart, and instantly we're just lovers. And so we got married of course we got married. That was 2016 when we adopted them. Well, 2015 for Miles, early 2016 January for Darla. Instantly we're lovers. Instantly we're like, they got to marry with us, and so Darla and Miles were married as well. They were married. So we have two dogs. We have dogs that are married, by the way. We need to get a show. The actions of running around is chasing. Yeah, exactly. That's why I say a lot of traders too. I know, and that's what I want you guys to get to the point too. Is where you are doing the alerts. Where it kind of comes to which we all want that at first. We want alerts. I know there's a lot of top traders in chats. Well, there are multiple chats, so I guess that makes sense. My chat, Dex chat, match chat. That give great alerts, and you're like, oh, I want this alert. I'm waiting for this person to alert something. It's going to be killer. I know it is. Their win rate's ridiculous. They're for the most part 70-80% plus. That's awesome. It's always about becoming your own trader and really seeing these areas for yourself as you watch the charting. And traders are maybe chasing your alerts where you alert something, whether they're looking at it or not. But in the end, you're alerting enough and you're killing it. They're going to start looking at those alerts. Trust me, just like AV. He's the most recent. I've been here forever. I know I'm like an ancient guy. Going back to like Thor, I feel like I'm one of those, and I would not be one of those, whatever, but the A-holes or DBs or whatever you want to call them that hang out at the Olympus or whatever it is and hang out all protected and with all the gods. No. I'd be the old cool guy that's still helping you guys out for sure. But yeah, it's one of those things where I know you may not listen to me as much. You see my alerts, maybe as one of them. I know I try to do my best to give you alerts and chat as much as I can, especially recently with not going live in the morning. But those alerts you do wait for. Take more attention to them than just taking them and getting the trade in. Learn from them. Go back and go, why did we take this trade? What was the main reason why? What are we looking for in this trade? So that way I can start identifying these setups well before anyone if I can. And then I can give these alerts. Maybe beat AV to alert. Maybe beat 8K. Maybe beat J Trades. Maybe beat 419 Tech. Maybe beat Iggy. All these, Active Trader. Who all these other top traders that are gold or other traders that aren't gold that are still killers. You can be that. Be the one that's putting alerts out there to be chased instead of chasing. I know I've said that a lot recently, and that's just, I've been there, and it kind of one of those things that clicked in my head, and I know I always kind of go through these different phases of kind of enlightening you and trying to giving you analogies. That is 100% an analogy. I just because I remember that, just being a chaser, and you know, make sure you end up being the one that's putting alerts out there to be chased. Will you look at QQQ to clear this up? Let's go real quickly. QQQ, what do we got here? SQQ is a 300% leverage in first play on the NASDAQ. Way different tools. Will you look at? So hold on, what's this? Let me look at this again. What do you? Oh, so Alex, what do you? Or I should say, Zach, what will you look at? We'll look at QQQ to clear this up, brother. What do you want me to look at again? QQQ ETF of the NASDAQ 100. SQQQ is a 300% leveraged inverse play on the NASDAQ 100. Way different tools. Were you talking to me or someone else? Maybe you're talking to someone else. Because I know some people are always like talking to other people, so I just want to make sure. Oh, okay, cool. QQQ is the NASDAQ one. I was just making sure. I just didn't know if you're asking me a question. I'm just making sure that, Zachary. Awesome and cool. Young Commerciante, you still in chat? Gotcha. Cool. There's a 300%. Thank you, Zach Hopper. Cool. You're man. You're good. Yeah. Yeah, Varu was only one. You know, I alerted this earlier. Almost wasn't going to trade, and I came into chat, saw this popping up, and I alerted this to probably everybody in chat nonstop. Varu was the main thing. I was just nonstop alerting today for the Thanos crossover. You know, there's multiple things you could have got into up top right here, but for the Thanos, there's a trend line crack right here. Beautiful trend line, overextended, well overextended, really in the end. So trend line crack through VWAP. I was just waiting for kind of the Thanos crossover to really start taking effect. To really get into this, because I want to make sure I didn't get caught up in some bounce back up, and this was the main trade overall. My entry was not good. It was 1607. I should have gotten way higher. You know, I could have been part of at least another 30. You know, if I look back, because we got a 1 minute time frame in my trend line crack right here. You know, you go to the one. This is what I'd have been trading back in, and especially looking at the Thanos crossover right here. You know, knowing that at least we're back under the 9, I would have. Got that, Vegeta? Vegeta. What if I would have said that? I always put an R in there. Vegeta. Vegeta, did you trade anything, maybe? Boy. Yeah, Varu is my only trade. I know a lot of traders did. D-Starly, a lot of traders traded this early on. Got a nice little short in overall. But yeah, I learned that right from the get-go. It was funny because Deck said something. And because that was one thing Deck brought up. But it is awesome. If you see plays that are gapping up, yeah, a lot of the time you're getting good shorts on them. But I don't mind shorting plays that don't have any gap up or any news on them, because if this is technically, in my opinion, a gap up, you know, it's like going up out of nowhere, just kind of pushing back up in this beautiful, crazy flag we've been in for freaking fragging 1, 2, count it 3 months now, team, which is just nuts. So we started this on 4/11. We are now on 7/13. That is nuts. Do not see that very often at all. If so, it's going to be like GameStop to SPY, Teslas maybe of the world. Even the SPY didn't really even do that, but you get my point. Something that for 3 months just stays in it's kind of crazy. But overall, I like this. When you see this massive move up, there's going to be shorts to be had. And I was kind of learning. I was like, well, by the way, I was going to say, I didn't. First alert was I wasn't going to trade him. Then I was like, well, you know, I was like, no, I actually like short plays like this. I was like, prime example, Varu. And then I immediately went into kind of alert mode. And I was like, I'm going to get some shorts and trade this B. That's it, though. That's the only one there, boss. Let's go back to some of these movers right now. We still have Siga moving slowly up to the top area. Nice, beautiful Rhythm is the Night, Rhythm of the Dancer, whatever you want to call it. The two cool songs right into this resistance area that we put in, team. Remember? Went back and we found it together. We sailed across the high seas and we found the great resistance right at not only the moving average, but that beautiful sandwich area at about 855. Right on down she goes from there. Underneath, and I'll mark this now, it was resistance from before. I'm going to come in here and see if this comes in now to mark this as some light blue support. We haven't really made it. We made it in a nice little area before, and I'll go a little higher. But if we start cranking down again here soon, I'd imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, red candles in a 3-minute time frame. We are due for a little bit of a bounce. But you got to know, team, if we crack this and the trend line at the same time, we are due to come right on down to the VWAP in the 780 shelf. And I'll put this little bit of a sandwichy shelf in as well, right there. Old resistance equals new support, right at 775. Mark that a little bit darker being that once we get a full pullback, I could see it channeling back up again in this area, in between 770, 775, back up to 820-ish area. I don't know Vegeta like that. Vegeta! They're like, who is this character? They're killing him ASAP. Vegeta, let's see here. Yes, I traded. Oh, there you go with a quick out. There you go. Okay, there you go. And Shorty, there you go, Vegeta. And then Shorty and RYTM, man. Nice little short up top there. If you did catch that short, good job, boss. Nice, nice, nice. As long as you don't try to short. No, I'm not shorting Sig. I didn't get in. There you go. Maybe that's why I didn't get in. Thanos fully didn't take care of it, you know. He came in for a minute, but I didn't come in with it, Renard. So you got lucky. You got lucky. I missed that one. I was locking up the final bit of my profit on Varu, as that was tanking on off. We do have a lot of these kind of random plays that are just, this one's just dumping off. I do notice this team, so maybe keep your eye on. This is a new IPO play. Keep your eye on it for maybe some more dumpage down. This did just halt down again. iLag, a new IPO play. Opened up today, as you can see earlier in the $21 area. Did kind of finally fly up, halted up right past 25. I noticed this earlier right before I went live. I was like, what's this iLag doing? Because the only thing else that's halting up and down today is this, whatever the heck this is, ZXZZTX4325 ZZ CP3APO iLag is the one I'd be looking at overall between the two halting plays that you see on the halt scanner, not the ZXZZT play. So iLag, watch for this. Not that I'm going to say watch for a bounce play, but just keep it on watch. This could get interesting at some point today or the next couple of days, being that you can tell the validity and it doesn't take much volume and we're halting up and down today. Outside linebacker, up, still holding up. Still, we're so close to this short opportunity team. So OLB, pretty darn close to getting short here. Told you Ambo, Ambo hangs out with Rambo. To be careful with that one earlier, team. That was super sketchy. We have seen AMBO, Ambo pop in the past. I think it was 2020 where we really saw it pass, if I'm not mistaken. There's 2021. Tell me I got one in 2020. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. Yeah, 2020 team. If I see anything pop now, I'm like, I think I remember this one from 2020. And I do a lot of them. It ends up being right. But Ambo really hung out with Rambo and had a good time. You know, Rambo, you know, the first one was good. And they started doing more. They weren't as good. But you get my point. The first round, 2020, as most of these tickers, when you go back and look, 2020, the spikes were just phenomenal, you know, on any of these plays. Go to 2021, still relatively pretty good. Not as strong, but still really, you know, pretty good. 2022, you can tell we just don't win. And look how far this has gone down to the gutter. We just aren't really getting anything anymore out of this. So one of those plays you just ran right in that was a 200-day moving averages or 50-day moving average as well. So that does not help. Ronaldo, you say, yeah, I'd say we go back to Siga too. You know, you got good probably movement up. You know, you're getting close to the top of that wedge there on the daily for SIGA. So I would watch this over the 1430 area, and especially if this gets over 1460, Renard, I know you've got to be looking at that and just, you know, like you're looking at a steak that you have not had food. You were like, I forgot his name. All I remember is Wilson and Tom Hanks. I don't know what Tom Hanks' name is. All I remember is Wilson. But you're Tom Hanks and Castaway, and you haven't had food and real food, and you know, well, I guess he's probably killing some fish. But you get my point. You haven't had a steak in years, my friend, and you're finally about to get a steak. Whatever it is you love to eat, you know, maybe fish. But you're finally gonna get some fresh food. All you've been eating is crumbs off the street for about 4 years now, and you finally see it in front of you, and this is it. I mean, you are almost to the promised land. And that thing could squeeze. SIGA could get a nice good pop team. It could get nice and moving. I wish we just haven't one take over. All these have kind of puttered out in the end. They just haven't really, I mean, they were getting close. Farouz coming back up again. Redbox, though, in the end, as you can see, it kind of teetered out and was done. Boom, came to the top, and then boom. And then what was the other one team? Rev was kind of another recent one. There were so many. I keep forgetting how many there were. There were more than just these. All I remember, Redbox, Siga, and Varu, the main two. But Siga and Varu still have a chance here. And they have the prettiest chart set up overall, in my opinion. You know from the get-go. I liked Varu at first, but then Siga has always been my favorite. Varu I still like overall too, and honestly a little bit. But Siga's my favorite overall. Siga! So SIGA top stock, you know, of all those movers recently that have been kind of that short squeezy trappy place for the shorts that have continued to squeeze team. These, out of all of them, this has been my favorite 100%. Yeah, RY. Ooh, here we go. Thank you. Yeah, I just kind of looked up Mob Hunter. Here we go. Look at that team. All from putting the past chart history resistance in, finding that area, and then ends up being the nice, good, real strong support. You got that moving average, and then, of course, that past chart history there ends up being the top. Now, they're not always going to get the tops, right? You know, this was a good short. That was in past short history right here. This one was as well. It wasn't as strong. This ended up being the best one. You know, that's going to happen a lot. That's why I don't kind of short the top and wait for bottoms to really fall out. Wait for Humpty Dumpty to essentially fall off the mountain. Zach Hopper, those levels. There you go. Cool, cool, cool. Renard, yep, almost died, but in case it doesn't work, trying to manage losses. You're good, Renardo. Renard, by the way, where'd you get in? What was your entry price? What was your long entry price, Renard, on Siga? I just thought about that. Did you get in? When'd you get in here, baby boy? And got to be up, I guess, in the $14 area. I forgot where you said you got in. I cannot remember. OLB, new short opportunity now. OLB. I mean, if you want to go up Vegeta, OLB, I would say if this moved up to the 128-ish area, up to maybe 135, that's where I would look for the short opportunity. You know, that to me is where your short's going to come from if you're going up top. Now, if you're looking at the downtrend line, I could see this as well, too. So you have the downtrend line. So that's another opportunity. I just would say wait for this bottom to fall out, and you're going to get a nice, good short NATO, I promise. Now, if you want to start getting a little higher entries, that's fine. Just be careful for squeeze. That's all I will mention. That's all I'll mention. Be careful. I'm right at 1420. There you go, baby boy. All right, 1422. Well, you want me to hammer Siga to the bottom side? I can always do that. You know, that's always a possibility. Box D team is getting its way back up to the high of day area. Did not fully. So if that's, here's another thing too. See how you're short here? 1, 2, 3. How many times you had to scale out here? I just hope a lot of people that understand when you had time to short, or if you're in on the short, to the area to lock up at. You know, if you went for the trend line crack earlier, it's not cracking through this area. All these touches through here are nice scale out zones, knowing that, man, if this does not crack soon, I need this to crack. You know, it's kind of, you always have to think the opposite too, just in case, and be devil's advocate and say, hey, I know what AK always says, if it doesn't push, it's going to crack, but then if it doesn't crack, it's also good possibility that chance there it could push. Let's see here, Vegeta. I will wait for you. Ascension, did you ever go, is moving today? Is moving? Is moving today. I have not gone over IS with a big gap up overall. I didn't know if there may have been news on this. I will go back over to this area of my computer and say, what is the float for IS? And I thought it was. IS's float's 300, 400, 500 million. So it's a 3, 4, 500 million float, my friend. So I would just, you know, trading that on a day in, day out basis for the most part would just be, you know, Ascension. I'd just be careful with that. It's just going to be a slow mover. If you are interested for the long, you want this to hold. You can see right where my crosshairs are right here at the 340 mark, and it's trying to hold it right now. You want that 340 mark to hold. It's trying its best to. If it doesn't, it's going to crack back down. You have this trend line you can set on it as well. It's just 3, 4, 500 million in float. That's a big, big float. It most likely is just going to, like you see most days if you go to past chart history here, it's just a matriculation machine. So to me, this would be more of a swing play playing technicals, which I don't do that very well yet. I mean, I want to get into that, which I will before year's in. Getting into options, I'm going to be good because what I will be doing, I'll be looking at more long-term stuff as well anyway. But as of right now, I'm just not a long-term trader, so I couldn't tell you, you know, you have room up to, you know, I know the areas you move up to. But I just don't see this, you know, it's just going to take a while in my opinion. It's going to take 2, 3, 4 days for it to move, you know, it's, I guarantee you if this gets a 380 today, Ascension, I want you to come back over here and say, how did it do it? I bet it doesn't get back up to 380 till like tomorrow afternoon. BC man, what's a good lockup zone for the short on RYT? Let's go back to rhythm. Right now, you are already in low zone 1. I don't know where you went short though, BC man. So that also kind of hurts my kind of like, you know, like it's like what is it? What is your entry? So I can't really. It's hard for me to determine what would be a good lockup zone. So what's your entry? And I could really did help you out. Now, if you're up top, like where maybe Vegeta or whoever it was that got in up top, I forgot who got in up top. Right up top here was a Vegeta, whoever it was. A5 area is great. Now, if you're in up top, you're in A26. Okay, A26. I would wait for, you know, I know you could have locked up there if what did it hit? It got close to 8. I would have probably locked up some right there at 8, honestly. And that touch, you know, I know it came down quick, but somewhere in there, if you would have got out at 807, that still would have been okay with me. 8's the first area, and then technically you're going to be good for a clear shot down to the end of the 7/8, you know, and so that would be area number 2. So crack this trend line, look at 8 to be your lockup area number 1, and if that that cracks, you're down to 775 to 780, 100%. And BC, man, yeah, you're probably going to get more shorting, 100%. I would imagine. This is getting real testy. I bet we get one more nice little dump down to 8. We don't want to squeeze back up in this little area. We're trying to hold this trend line. We want that trend line to crack. I would imagine more dumping. I see this back into this area right here, channeling back up, in my opinion. ORMP, would you mind looking at ORMP again? I've hawking this one all day, waiting for a good short. Oh, look at this. I put this in when we first started going live. We did go to... There was your decent short right there. It wasn't much, but there's your first area, and it came right down to the area I was talking about. Philip, I literally, when I first started going live and we're talking about this now, it reminds me because it also, which... now I'm going back to thinking about shrimp, but every time I look at this team, I think of shrimp. Every time I look at this, I just go SHRIMP. But overall, I'm going to get rid of this. And I was right in the end where this kind of ended up forming this guy. Look, this ended up being, it was going to be one of these two, I thought, and we faded back finally, right? And so that's your first short. I'd get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this. And now we're playing channels, baby boy. And so, Philip, there's your top area. Here's your bottom area, Philip. And I'm going to mark this as blue. These are your channels. So if you're looking for a short, in my opinion, it's going to be back under the 830 line. That makes sense? Kind of working that down for you there from start to finish. I would say 830 is going to be your main channel to look for a short. Now, you want to be testing, go 1, 2, 3 up top and go, yeah, here's a chance if you want to. I just be careful with ORMP right here at the top for the third time test. I would just wait. If you want to go in, that's fine. There's a 30-cent short right here. You crack this, you're likely to get another, at least 15, if not 30-cent short in the end. Box D team, Box D, oh, not body. Not body. Box D team, new high of day. New high of day for Box D right here, moving out through this channel. See this little channel right here, kind of like ORMP is doing. Same thing right here. First touch, second touch, third touch. That's why I was saying be careful ORMP for the short. This could happen right here. So Box D, new high of day. Rhythm is the dancer. Rhythm is the night, or whatever, all the different songs now. Looking like we could be cracking here soon. It's getting so tight into this little wedge. I want to keep this on watch for a quick little hot minute. You're welcome, BC Man. You are certainly welcome, Philip. Questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I do have a session right at 2:30 Eastern time today, team. So as usual, I'll go live for right about another hour from right now. I'll cut it off for about an hour. So about an hour from right now, I will go live. And of course, we always have my, my son Living Like Matt taking over right at about 2 o'clock Eastern time, or was that? Yeah, 2 o'clock Eastern time anyway. A little slower volume, a little bit lower movement overall. I know you guys were just looking at Twitter here, moving on up nicely today overall. Nice little move up from Twitter. The SPY's still been cranking here and finally get a little pullback from the SPY here. Watch this little trend line touch here coming on up here from the SPY. Nice little move from the SPY though, back up a little bit today. Yep, right there we go, like it. Full granny. Night at the Roxbury. Love, man, that was there was a good stretch there from the early 90s to the mid 2000s. Well, I guess that would be right, not because it's 2010s, but I'd say to the mid to later 2000s, to right around 2010. There was about a 20-ish year stretch where it was, really, even the 80s was great, but I mean, for me watching though, early 90s, all the way up into, about 2010, 13, 14-ish, or whenever it was, when all that kind of cast left, like Jason Sudeikis and all those kind of guys left. I forgot who all. Of course, Fallon was one of the first to go from all those kind of guys, but then they still had like, what's her name from Bridesmaids? The main lady in Bridesmaids, the pretty blonde. What's her name? Anyway, but it was still great till then. Andy Samberg was always great in his little stupid songs he'd do. With Rhythm, what time frame would you be in for Thanos? Let's go with Rhythm real quickly here. I'd probably go with a 5, but I'll check between all these real quickly. Yeah, I'd probably stay in a 5, honestly, in the end, and know that right now, if we stay under it, RYTM, which is trying to pop back up here, I would say a 5. I'd go 5 because it tries to pop back over this right here, and it's perfectly where, to me, it kind of lines up with charting, so it makes sense too. This 830 area is the main area you want to worry about. So if it runs back over 830-ish, 835, that's kind of your main area right there you need to worry about. Gonna ran right back into it on the 5-minute time frame there. Love chip. Where the heck are my, first off, chocolate chip cookies? I'm hungry today, my friend. Where are my chocolate chippers? Where are they at? I need them right now. Send me some chocolates. Or you're not getting any. You're going to get Goose. I'm going to go over Goose and grow a mustache real quick. Goss. All right, let's go over to Goss real quickly. Goss and Box D. All right, so Goose. Are we going shorty? Thoughts on Goss and where are we shorty? Okay, Goss. All right, Goss. Goss, I'd go channel. Goss, I'd go channel. Right about right here's your bottom support. Right here kind of is your top resistance area. So we'll mark this as blue. That's kind of your channel I'd put it in. Has a little bit. Is a wee little bit. A nice little trend line, honestly, in the end. Nice trend line right there. Boom. Boom. So there's a nice trend line right there. So beautiful trend line right here. As we move on up, we're getting tighter kind of in this wedge, really in the end, kind of an ascending triangle-ish, getting tighter in this. So I'd look at that and go, hey, if I get a trend line to shelf crack down to the VWAP, that's short number one. We get under 880 VWAP and the 875 rule, we're down to 860, 850 possibly. So there's a good, nice little short to be had. We want to pop over the 935-ish area. Watch for a pop up to say 970, 975. That's really, to me, where the room would run to, maybe possibly 10 in Goss today. Now, Box D. Love Chip, I'm kidding. I was just waiting for you to finally send one of those. I thought, and then maybe you're gonna finally send GIF like, here is your damn cookie, like Renard did. Now Renard's got to put those in chat. Now I'm like, dang. Last week, was it last week or week before last? It was last week, right? Yeah, last week with the homemade ice cream. Remember that team? Last week with the homemade ice cream. Y'all remember that one? This week, now I've got to do cookies. Now I'm gonna do some cookies, team. And let's go over to Box D for the short. You know, I'm not big on shorting tops. You know, I could say that day in, day out. I know I'm pretty annoyed with it, or I'm sure you guys may be annoyed with that. I would say 275 to 2, you know, maybe even close to 3 if you do want to short tops is the top area. The next top this has room to run to is 235 to 245. Otherwise, you know me, I'm just saying wait. I think it was Vegeta, or maybe it was, I forgot who just brought this up just a little bit ago. I forgot who just brought this up with the where to go for a short on Box D. And I said, just wait for the bottom here to kind of fall out at 208. That cracks, and then the VWAP cracks. You've got some move. You know, you're going to start moving down. It may have been a different ticker, but this is kind of the same setup that I'm looking at. You know, you just wait for this bottom to fall out and just be safe about it. If you want to start shorting here at the top and wait for a, you know, get the pullback here. I just know that when this, because it's been support for almost 2 hours now, literally almost on the dot. For it has been essentially in the end for 2 hours. That area when it cracks is going to be a good short in my opinion. Renard says, I am starving now. Got that BC man for the crossover. That makes sense on RYTM. You got that, boss? And Vegeta, Vegeta, I should say. Young Commerciante, are you in chat? Commerciante. Calling Young Commerciante like Colleen Bueller. Are you in chat? Siga trying to hit new high of day here, team. Siga trying to hit new high of day here. Watch for this to squeeze still a little bit more. Still has some potential to go a little bit more here, in my opinion. Go up to at least the 14.5, 14.75 area. All right, so yeah, Commerciante, just because I don't want to keep typing back. Yes, so if you didn't get the link, which you should have gotten the link, I'll resend it again. But you should have gotten the link, and just all you have to do is click that link, or should have gotten the email. You should have gotten the email. And if you got the email, there is a link in there, and all you do is click on that link, and yes, it's through Zoom. So if you got the email, it's in the link. It's through Zoom. You'll just click on it, and you'll say, hey, man, how you doing? I say, hey, man. And that's what we work on today. We're working on accents today. Sorry, Commerciante, it's accent day. I've got to work on these accents. I'm all over the place. You probably did. You just missed it. I know you had to. Everyone always says that because it just doesn't look like it overall. Oh, no, but that's why, Commerciante. You're right. You know why? You know why, baby boy? Because we had been emailing each other. That's why I'm like, how didn't you get the email? Bro, DM me your email. That's why. Here. I mean, it may be, is it somewhere up top? Oh, I got it. Okay, I have it. I'll send it to you. I have it. Duh, because I've been, there we go. I'm like, duh, that's why. I was like, hold on a second here. I've been emailing you. I was like, I've got it, duh. So I'll send you the email right now, which I kind of like the last name. The Games. Is that really your last name? Or is it, it's probably Gomez, but it looks like Games. Is your last name Gomez? Am I saying that right? Because it looks like Games. I always thought it was Games when I saw your email and the last name. I was like, man, he must be a gamer, but it's probably Gomez, isn't it? It's like mind-blowing. I was saying, am I saying that correctly? I love when it's mind-blowing stuff, like even like stuff like that. I'm like, wow, I just realized something, team. I thought it was games the whole time. Because people, I have all these different emails, and I'm telling you, people are creative. Like, same with my license plate. So a lot of people will get, my license plate is Falcor7. I spelled Falcor correctly. I'm not going to spell Falcor like some people do, and they'll put like a different letter or an extra letter. I'm not going to spell it weird. I'm just going to put my favorite number in there or put 1 on it. Like Thanos. I wasn't going to put, if Thanos was taken, which it was, I wasn't going to do Thanos with 2 N's or 2 S's. Like, I don't know how to spell. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put Thanos 1 on there. And so some people, like when they do theirs, they'll spell it weird or be cute and creative. And so I thought he was being created. Need to see RYTM to straight bounce back off this previous high of day. Let's see RYTM. Let's go back to it. Are we pushing back up a little bit? Yeah, we are a little bit. Not too bad though. RYTM. Are we shorting it? Love Chip. Love Chip. Are we shorting Rhythm of the Night? Rhythm of the Dancer. The dancers are dancing in the night. BC man, I wish I would asked sooner now and locked up half at 8:03 now. I'm worried it's not going to come. Oh man, it's all right, boss. It's all right, boss. And commerciality, I'll send that. Good. That's what I thought. I thought I was right. I thought I was on that. But yes, I'll send that email in just a minute. I just now realized I did not do that. So as soon as I sign off with you guys, I'll send the email over. And I'll double check that to make sure you got it. Yeah, pushing back up here a little bit. I'll put this small tad bit resistance area in, but I understand what you're saying. You know, not locking up maybe, you know, when you're up a good 15, 20-ish cents or so, at least some of it, at least locking up half, because we do get bullish returns. You know, it came right off this area right here, and that's why I always try. And when I get into this lesson, you can see all these little micro areas, and I'll leave these in now. Not that traders are going to have this in your charting, but this may help you out in the end to let you know where these areas are, so we can zoom in and see them a little more. Resistance, support. Once was, of course, a little resistance. Resistance became support, right? And so, you know, right here, right? And of course, then again, and so, you know, down below, here's your. That's really because you have a nice good gap. Really, there's nothing major in there that I see. These are your main areas you're going to work with. So RYTM, you know, when I get into that micro macro lesson team, it's going to be a lot of this right here that you need to start worrying about and looking at a little bit more in depth a little bit when you're looking at your charting. Pack is just out. One brief noise from earlier, nothing since. Is my intuition weird or what? Did y'all hear that? Did you just hear what happened? Did y'all hear that? Please tell me you heard that. I hope someone heard that. Y'all may not have. Well, Mike's not that sensitive, I don't think, but it may be. Like, geez, there was nothing, and all of a sudden, I shouldn't have said anything. An announcer's jinx. Any questions y'all want to go over? Any stocks y'all want to go over? I know it's a little bit slower right now. Finally getting this upper trend. This trend was pretty steep, honestly. Pretty steep in the end, honestly, in the end right here. Watching for a trend line crack. Watching to this 280 area next in a good short down. Maybe to about 279.75. That's your two main areas to watch for. This could really start dumping down, say, to the 279 area, even possibly down to 278.6 or so. Pets for a short. Petsy. Finally getting a lot of this movement lately, like kind of like Box D. Although we're kind of not doing too much when we get over the area. Siga just did this. Box D then did it afterward. Siga's really kind of doing it again now. Pets is doing it. Moving over an area that was resistance. Now we're finally moving back into it, and we clear over it. When we clear over it, we don't really do much. A lot of it comes to volume. Just really, even though it moves in, it's not very big. It's a lot lighter than what we need. So for the short, in my opinion, you know, I would put if you do the Thanos crossover, if you want to see when that area is that you can tell it's really going to get bearish. Here's the other area you want to put in here is a trend line. Go to pets on my indicator of the Thanos crossover. So we have trend line and the shelf crack. So we have old resistance. We'll call the bottom area around 268, 267, whatever. Trend line's pretty much at the same area. Oh, look where our 9's at to start the bearish movement back down for the Thanos crossover. Right at that same price. Love how those all line up. So that would be the area I look to short. 100% Royal. That makes sense, boss? Speaking of Thanos, is the Snizzinator in chat? I should have asked Sniz earlier. I meant to show Sniz and you guys last week. I meant to show you guys something. I showed it off a little bit. But speaking of Thanos, Dimpy, your plane should be Dimpy. I think. Oh, Dimpy, your plane should be there. Dimpy, are you there still, or are you on the plane? Dimpy, if you're there, let me know. I think the plane could be there though by now. Could get that plane. You got it, Royal. Anyone else needs to use the AK47? Just let me know. It is usable. It is a company plane. Pet's been another slow and steady mover today. That was brought up earlier. I know, God, I forgot who brought it up. And they asked, maybe it was BKU. I forgot who said something about it, though. Pet's being a good bounce opportunity. And it was. I didn't know if they were asking me a question or if they thought it was. I was like, yeah, you know, you're all over it. But it was definitely, it was a good bounce for. There was a couple good bounces on Pets today. Ended up being bullish. A nice place overall, being a nice move back up today for Pets. Put that one on watch. You got it, Royal. You got it. You got it. You got it. So watching Pets, I'll put these on there in case you guys want to know. I'd go Pets, Siga, Box D, and Rhythm as top stocks to watch. There we go. There's a couple of different alerts. All right, cool. All right, so I'd go Siga. Time, you know, of course, those going through those again. Siga, we're squeezing, looking a lot like Pets. Pets squeezing at the top right here. Could we squeeze, get to that new high of day area? We do have a little room to move up on both of them. At least a good 20-25 cents for each one of them. Box D was in that same mode, falling off a little bit since hitting up that area, and you can tell trying to squeeze, and then not falling back down. RYTM, the rhythm play, getting close to this resistance area, zooming back in, you can see it a little bit more clearly now. The resistance from that head and shoulders that was kind of forming earlier, that did form a nice little short. Bounce back off the $8 area and now moving back up. We do not need to get back over this orange line of resistance for we'll start popping back up closer to 8.5 again. What's up, Gab? How we doing? Y'all are good. Yeah, I just always forget about that to kind of come back over and alert to you guys, you know, over in Dex Lobby saying, hey, I'm over here live. Don't forget, live for a little bit longer if you need a little questions, comments, concerns, anything that need to head in the right direction with anything. A little bit slow. There's nothing really to trade for the most part. A little slower plays. Pets would be a decent trade possibly. I just kind of listed those in chat. Wilson's turn. What I forgot about, and you know the one yesterday, team spoken Wilson and anyone that shorted Jovi or watched Jovi with me. You know it would have been a good name for this, and I told you this was going to come down more. So, man, good job, Wilson. Good job, boss. I knew this was going to come down more. I should have stayed in this longer. Mind you, those plays in April. But John Bon Jovi. I should have been singing John Bon Jovi all day yesterday on my play. Gah! I thought about that yesterday afternoon. I was like, oh, how did I forget about calling this John Bon Jovi? Because I kept calling it Jovi. That's my bad. That's a good short, though. Good short right there. Could even shelf crack even down even more. 325 team, another little short to be had. Watch 325 shelf crack for this to kind of dump down even more, honestly, in the end. Got it. But I'd say the top stocks to watch would go Pets, squeezing at this high of day area, hitting new high of day kind of over and over and over, trying to squeeze. These plays are just a little bit slower overall in volume too. Siga trying to do the same thing. Box D had that attempt. Now it's coming back down. Not down too much, but it's still staying up. And of course, one of the main movers I'm sure a lot of you have been looking at throughout the day overall would be RYTM Rhythm, as we are trying to squeeze our way and push. I say squeeze, but this is just still in bullish mode right here, in my opinion, team, where we did get bearish for a minute, and we've gotten bearish a couple of times today on RYTHM. It just overall is maintained. It's dipped below this bearish essentially a couple times. You know, the 9, you know, whatever your indicator, I'll use a couple different ones, and it kind of dips below, but it pops right back up. Hits an area of old support, or old resistance, which will equal new support, pops back up. You know, it did it beginning of the part of the day, boom. You know, did it again here, resistance, and boom. Did it again here, boom. You know, right here. So it's holding these areas pretty nicely. And I have all these lines in. I'm going to get a lesson in micro versus macro and understanding the bigger areas, and also knowing that there are these smaller areas that will come into play that we'll have to worry about too. I'll leave the orange line in up until I know we're holding this area. I'll get rid of it. I want to know your thoughts on RYTM short. Boss, want to know your thoughts. Yeah, so G. Calante, yeah, that's it. I would say that we were short earlier. This was a short to be had. I was kind of alerting this, watching for the short on the backside move, especially on the way down to 8. Thought maybe we'd get back down to this channel if we did crack 8. We just didn't crack 8. It bounced back up from there, and so I just be careful shorting this. It's holding this all-day trend. I say all day, but it's been in this trend for, you know, a couple of hours now. Then this overextended trend that we're creating, I just think that overall in the end, how much have these actually held their gains throughout the day? You go back to RYTM, the typical movement for it, this is about its extended move forward overall. If you look at how much it usually typically moves, how big it moved yesterday, and now we've already moved that much today, I think at most this maybe gets to 875 and maxes out at that point, and starts really turning over to that backside bearish move. So I'm still bullish on it right now momentarily, but I feel overall moving to a bearish sentiment on RYTM 100%. That makes sense there, G. Calante? You see what I'm seeing? Do you see what I see? I see the rhythm of a dancer in the night. I'm combining 3 songs, yes, into one. I would have taken some profit, head and shoulders dip, was getting some leftover cold pits. Oh, yeah, Alex Vaughn. So I see these Alex Vaughn, same thing. So he's wanting the same thing there. He saw that little head and shoulders being created. You get that dip, because you never know. I mean, this could be bounce area. You know, you get to the bottom of the shoulder, you want to take profit. Yes, that bottom down, that's where the big short comes in, even more short. But you may bounce off of the bottom part of that shoulder, which we did kind of there. Alex, I had that last week, which is so awesome. That was my jam last week. So last was it Friday before last? Yeah, Friday before last. I went and helped. If I remember, I went over and helped my mom do a bunch of hanging stuff up, hanging all. And it was so funny, man. Mom's team. God, the older they get too. No offense, 'cause love my moms, love my women. You know that, but man, you got to be patient. She's all like, well, this, and she's wanting me to do it, but she's like, well, this and this, and then what? I'm like, and then like it took her like 2 or 3 till she finally was like, just kind of get out of the way. It was so funny, but she would just, I'm like, can I just hang these up? You're taking, you're prolonging this, mother. But not only did we get amazing catfish, we had, what was kind of the plan that night? We were doing catfish dinner, which I love some catfish team, man. It's so good. Catfish, hush puppy, some French fries, coleslaw. I ordered a large pizza all for myself because my wife was out of town, which she's out of town again. She had to go to Tallahassee one last time, if you remember that. So I got a pizza. So I was eating, I was so bachelor that night. Not only did I eat my 3-piece catfish dinner, every bite of it, I had a slice of pizza at dinner with it. Then when I got home, I was like, man, this pizza's still pretty fresh. I had another slice of pizza. Then before bed was the pizza, because I kind of, let it sit out for just a little bit. Had another slice. Yes, I felt rather fat, but it's okay. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And then I had cold pizza the rest of the week, because then I turned it cold, because a lot of people like, we love some cold pizza. Because then I turned the rest of it cold, and then I love this place we do near by my house. They cut them, instead of doing like the bigger pieces, they cut them like into like they're smaller. They do the normal pie, the normal pie shape, but they make their pieces just thinner. Instead of being wide, they're nice and thin, so you can eat. You can go just grab one at a time and don't feel like you have to eat a lot. You can go, because sometimes you go in there trying to grab a, and you start eating. You're like, man, I don't know if I can eat this whole slice. I just want half of a slice right now. And so what I do sometimes, like tear one in half. You go to tear it in half, and it's like, yeah, that was a good idea. You should have just got the pizza cutter out, you idiot. Sam, I love to eat, man. I love to eat. I think I could have been, honestly, if I'd have trained my body, I could have been probably in one of those. I could have been, a competitor eater, which they make good money now. Awesome, Alex Vaughn's talking about short for you guys too, just so you know what he's looking at, and I'm right there with him. I'm thinking this overall ends up being short city on this in the end. I'm going short city limit, so I think in the end this becomes a little bit more bearish in the end, and we see a good short on it. I'm zoomed in so you can see the support and resistance areas as we work through them now. Because this really has a lot of room to run down in the end if we start cracking some prime support up top here. Yeah, right. Alex Vaughn, 100%. Do it when you're young. You're like, dude, I just ate that whole pig. Or do a competition, you know, and you win it, and you're like, dude, you're like, yeah. You do that now, and you're like, at the end of it, you're like, not only do you feel like this, and you just want to go sleep for like a bear for 18 days in a row. You feel the walk of shame. You're like, I cannot believe I just did that. I feel so fat. Oh my God, my stomach. Hey, and I always bring this up, Fly on the Wall. I was on Man versus Food. I always bring this one up to you guys. So so you guys know, I'm gonna do Man versus Food. You gotta watch this. Man versus Food. Mean Pig Barbecue. I was on this one, team. So you gotta go watch this. So I'll kind of show you I'll put the two different links in chat, so you can go watch these real quickly. So this is the one I was in. So here's Man versus Food. Here, I'll put this in. Mean Pig Barbecue. Here we go. Man versus Food. Man versus Food. Mean Pig. So it's right. I used to work at this place, and it's the place I always get my barbecue at, right down the road. So there's the shortened version right there. That's on the Travel Channel. Oh, my friend, you could just see him. It's for like half a second back there. Hold on. Right here, that's my friend Caleb. That's my friend Caleb. I moved from back here because I could not see anything. I got there so late. I was working that day. I know this guy too. I forgot he used to be in competition. Oh, team. I know I'm bringing this up from time to time, and I know I have my dad when he used to do the fat ass versus skinny ass, and I know like what, yes, that's what was on radio back in the day. I can talk about this because this was on radio back in the day, and it would be a thing they'd do. And hey, sponsored this week, Wendy's sponsors, and yeah, they would sponsor it, and whoever could melt this big block of ice the fastest would win like whatever they were giving away. That's Fat Man. That's the fat guy. That's who the FA guy. That's I always want to cuss, but yeah, that's the big guy. Hey, that's him. I forgot what his real name was. Anyway, but I was there. I went and stood behind the counter. So right, you see where it's filming them? You can see where it's filming them. It's all from the front. And he's just like dying over here. He truly is dying. That's Buddy. He's the owner of the joint. But right behind that's the counter. So they kind of have stuff set up right at the counter. And so but that's it, man. It was awesome. I was there for that one. So I actually was at one of the Man versus Foods. And here's the longer version that, you know, they kind of show on the show. Here's the fuller version right here, where they kind of like talk to people, and they're all doing the like, hey, do you think I can do this? And like, yeah, man, you know, they kind of talk to people at Mean Pig. But yeah, dude, I love it. Mean Pig's really good, and that show was, yeah, that was actually on one of those. Yeah, oh, Kadobo, you could tell, because he was such a sweet guy too, by the way. Adam Richmond's such a nice guy. Still actually keeps up with Buddy. Every time I go talk to him, he's like, hey, I wouldn't believe Adam, you know, him and Adam still keep up. But that's why he quit. His stomach was getting tore up. Like it was like everyone left, because, you know, he always talks to people, and he was always nice and would talk to people and sign autographs or whatever. Finally, everyone left, and just so I could we were back behind the counter in the kitchen area, and he was just like this. I mean, just sweat, still just like, I mean, like he had just his body had run a marathon. And I was like, imagine doing that as much as he was. And he was saying even then, like, you could tell he was like, he didn't say it, but you could tell he was not going to be doing it for much longer. He's like, yeah, I can't do this forever. Which, even watching that show back in the day, I remember being with Avery watching that, you know, because that's when Avery kind of first got together. We were like, and everyone, you know, you just kind of think that logic, like, there's no way you can do that forever. The punishment you put yourself through. It's one thing to have eating contests and do it like every few months, but this is like spicy, like stuff that you probably shouldn't consume a lot of. By Super Buddy, my claim to fame. Yeah, no, that's one of them. I got a few. You know, I've got a few. Oh, Hurst, he's a friend of mine. Yeah, Adam Richmond. Yeah, Adam Richmond's an awesome guy. He really is a really nice guy. Couldn't say a bad thing about him for sure. Here goes Siga team squeezing up. Siga squeezing up here a little bit. Nicely, team. So watching SIGA. I'll just put this into a 5-minute time frame so you can see the whole day a little bit more clearly. Put the trend line back on right here for SIGA, as you can see it right about right here. Let's go about a little bit more steep, actually. We'll go right about right in there. And it's kind of overextending off of it. Is SIGA. So nice move here. And that's why I said you can kind of tell, going back to Mob Hunter asked earlier, Rich, you know, going with that, you can just tell when you look at charts, hey, here, which one most likely is in that setup to most likely squeeze. You know, right now it's gonna be Pets, RYTM, and Siga. And you're high watching each one of those for those, and being prepared to trade at any moment in time. Go back to the rhythm of the night at the bottom one here. That could double, yeah, exactly, 100%. That's awesome. Hold on, is that you? Was that your? What'd you do here? What are these? The Vine? Is that the Vine back in the day? Alex, is that what that's from? That literally looks like you. So like that looks like Treetop Josh. Awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. Actually, my claim to fame, honestly, team, was actually working on. I've worked on a couple different movies and shows. So Project X, I worked on, which I actually ended up not being in it, didn't make the cut. I actually worked on Queen of the South. I was an extra on a couple different shows, but I actually did sound for them. Came in and actually helped them. I just also luckily came across it. They needed a production assistant for sound. The sound engineer. I was like, hell yeah, I would love to do this. So Queen of the South's on USA. There's a couple different episodes. You see me walk around the back like I know what I'm doing. I'm just walking around. There's like, all right, that's what they tell you. They give you direction. That's why it's called director. Who? It's not usually the director. It's just someone in director. You never talk to the director. But one of the assistants comes up and says, okay, you're gonna get these papers. You're gonna walk over there and you're gonna talk to Jeff, and Jeff's gonna, y'all just talk. It was on USA. Queen of the South was on USA for like. I forgot how many years it was on USA, but it's all filmed right there, and for the most part, it's filmed in Texas, but a lot of it's filmed in Dallas. What's up, Sean Worrell? PLRX is holding 1840 offering price of the dot for a while. Have you any? Yeah, I'd say keep, and I had that on watch only. I finally took it off, honestly, and put pets on watch. Honestly, I thought I replaced it with another P. Put pets on watch because it actually was moving, Sean. If it holds this area and doesn't dump off, which it looks like, you can see that shelf being built in. If anyone else is interested, this could be a good short. You see this beautiful short opportunity right here on 18.5. This could dump down even more, team. So this could, and if it does, I would say maybe start marking pets off, and this could start seeing where it gapped up. And this could be a good short. I'm looking at this either way, long or short, 100%, Sean. So if it holds this area, hell yeah, great. Maybe we'll get to see a squeeze and move back up. It's actually holding this area. If it doesn't, we could easily see this. That a lot of the time when they put those prices in, they'll go to them like a magnet, but they don't stay there like a magnet. If you get what I'm saying. Awesome, Alex Funnels, a 6-second impersonation. That's awesome, man. That's awesome to make that, though. I mean, honestly, even though I heard she's not so nice to her, to maybe some of her cast members or guests, but I always seem like a nice person. But yeah, Sam Snead, Queen of the South. That was really sweet, man. I was honored to work on this. It was season 3 that I worked on it. I'm pretty sure. I can almost go to the episodes here. I think it was like episodes like 8 and 9 and 10. I think I want to say. Oh, I'm all over it. Yeah, it was season 3. I want to say it was 100% was episodes 7, 8, and 9. But I could be wrong. I'll have to go back and check. It was cool. It was cool. The lunches even Queen of the South. You got to imagine that's on USA now on Netflix. Oh my gosh, the lunches they gave you, team. And you're getting paid, like, it was great pay. I mean, man, it was awesome. I was like, I almost got into that before. That's why it was 2018 was kind of that kind of year where I almost went and stayed because the stock trading, it was working. I was finally figuring it out, but I was like, I was thinking this would be just maybe where I become a swing trader, just trade here and there. And because that was really kind of ramping up. I was like, maybe I want to do this for a living because it was really fun working on set. Getting that every once in a while being like an extra, maybe every once in a while, maybe keep working on that, and that's where a lot of those people get roles. But the pay on those are pretty good, and then you get fed for. I mean, my gosh, the meals were crazy. It was essentially a buffet. I mean, you go get what you want, and all these different cooks kind of come in, and you're just like walking around like, I want a little of that, I want a little of this. I felt like a star. Honestly, I felt like a star for a minute, team. I was like, dang. And I did when I first started doing broadcast journalism. And then you get the realism sets in. At least on that, you don't make a lot of money, but. That was the only one was at Jerry's World. You'd go to Jerry's World, and I was like, man, but you go to Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium in Dallas. The games I did there, the spread they put out, team, oh, you were at like a super nice buffet. It was like endless food. I took my wife once. I showed that picture off in chat. I think I still have that saved, where Avery came with me. I got her. Yeah, here's where my wife went with me to one of the Arkansas A&M games. at Jerry's World right there. I took my wife. I got her a credential because I could get credentials. I mean, any of my friends could come if they wanted to. I could only get one extra one. But like I should have taken a picture of the spread though. Holy bananas! It was like, okay, even my wife. It was so funny. She was like, she kept going back for the mac and cheese and the mashed potato, all these different little things. It was funny. But the big one was the Queen of the South. I was like, this is so cool. And people coming out of their trailers, and then you see them, even though they're, there's nothing really, no one super big on that show, but it was just cool to kind of be on a set of a production, that's on, a network kind of, TV show. Oh yeah, bro, Vegeta, shoot game always strong over here, bro. I probably worn those Toro Red 4s. I'm not kidding you, this many times. I don't know if I've gotten it's round 5-ish. And would those come out like in 13, 14, 15, something like that? Probably 13, 12, 13, 14. Wife was rocking the all white Hirachis. Always. Yeah, Treetop, I've been, definitely married up. I love my wife. Here's my wife's, one of my wife's claim to fame. I got to show this off. And I've always shown this off in chat. And my wife got to meet, I was like, man, you're just lucky. Everyone take pictures with her. If you watch the NFL and you've heard of Emmanuel Sanders, a wide receiver, played for the Broncos, plays for the Bills now, played for the 49ers recently, and then you've heard of Hannah Davis. Now I remember her original last name, but Derek Jeter's wife. Here's my wife taking pictures with Derek Jeter's wife. Hannah Davis used to be she was Sports Illustrated cover model, and then there's of course is Emmanuel Sanders. Sam Snead, I don't know what that one is, boss. We're going to delete that. I don't know what that one's to, baby boy. I think that was a link he meant to put in chat. But yeah, Treetop, I love my wife. Avery. Wags, yeah, you liking those J's? Yeah, those Toro 4s are dope, man. I love those Toro 4s. How much do those go for these days? Let's check that out, because I bet they go for a good number. Jordan 4 Toro. Is it like Toro Reds? I don't know what they're called. Something like that. Toro Bravos. There we go. Toro Bravos. Toro Bravos, what they're called. Yes. Yes, I'm glad I kept it. I knew how these were going to be. Just a smooth $600. $609. So here's what they go for now, what they retail for. I mean, I go show you real quick. I still got these. Trust me, I still got my Toro Bravos. But yeah, I almost said Toro, but yeah, there we go. Those are that's what I was rocking. I keep my ones that cost a lot of money, team. I keep the good ones. Stop cleaning my keyboard, sorry. All right, team, any last questions, comments, concerns, anything else you have? Besides, maybe you want to tell me your claim to fame. Let's do it. Mine's Queen of the South. Nothing too major, Meeting Jerry Jones and some of the Cowboys, like Romo, Des Bryant, Dirk, Tyler Sagan in the NHL. Those are some big names. I don't think I was ever anyone big in the NHL, unfortunately. A couple of coaches, but I don't think I ever did any Mavs games. Rangers games. Oh, I think maybe, I don't know if I met Bill Clinton back in the day. Of course, Arkansas, my dad, I don't know. You get my point. That's kind of about as big as it gets for me. Never met anyone too big. My dad's met everyone big. My dad's gotten meeting that's what happens when you're a radio host. Oh, what's the consensus of now? Siga, sorry, I had to go grab a bite. Let's see here. Got to go. I say Siga's still bullish. You're good, baby boy. I mean, if you get over this top area, which we're getting so close to, and I told you, what's the top area? 1475, 1480. 1480 is the top area. If you get over 1480, my eyes will be on Siga for a nice good, from actually some squeezing and actually to probably potentially be one of my very few and far between longs that I've taken recently and actually have taken longs. If this gets over 15, team, especially, and 15.5 and it's at 16, etc., I'm telling you right now, you could easily see this continue to squeeze. So I'm saying, Renard, you're 100% on it. You're good. How do you read that upside down? It's all upside down. His keyboard on eBay. Bought his keyboard on eBay. There we go. I read that upside down. Had to turn over for a minute and make sure those were real words, Alex. Yelling here, yeah, RYTM, yeah, you're yelling for that to crack. I understand. I could see that, G. Calante, 100%. 100% could see that. All right, team. I'd say stocks again to watch. We'll go over these real quickly. I'm going to write them down, then go over them. Pets, up to around the high of day area. We know Siga because it just hit a new high of day just a second ago. Box D is still close to doing the same thing. I'll go with RYTM as the other. So top 4 penny stocks to watch. So let's go through those. Siga, SIGA. Trend line team still rocking and rolling. I'm telling you, as I keep talking about, over this 1475 and 1480 mark, SIGA could be a great push and move into next, I would say, into next week, because not only do we have, this week's almost over, Thursday, Friday. If this gets over 15, in my opinion, we're maybe going to in the likelihood to get to that next leg up. Now, we don't want to fail. I'm saying tomorrow, if we do push, we get over 15, it squeezes easily to 15.5, 16, 16.5. It's probably going to come back and hold 15 as a bounce player, anywhere around, this 14.75-ish area at the bottom. And so this could be the squeeze play, not only into tomorrow, but into next week, of course, Friday as well. Play this trend line, though, for now. If we do get back under 14, not good for SIGA, especially, or for you, Renard, as we move forward. You want to get these back down, onto 14. You're not looking so good. Especially if we start testing this area around this 14.60, the last low dip bounce of the day that we had so far. Not a good sign. I don't see that happening over on the next 2 hours of the market, even in after hours, because a lot of these, what do we see typically, team? Even on days these move, most days, unless they squeeze hard at the end of the bell, there is no after hour movement. So if maybe we, slowly but surely just kind of trickle into the power hour, finally isn't really doing too much. We're finishing off above 14. That's a good sign for you, Renard, especially if it closes above 14.5. I wouldn't see a bunch of movement in after hours. The only reason I'd see movement in after hours if this continues to push hard and it's really starting to push and squeeze. You get that in after hours, or should I say afternoon commentary, power hour with Matt, into what's about to be the closing bell. So you kind of know these areas and what to trade for. I'd say overall look for this shelf from earlier around 14.10, 14.15, close down to 14 to hold. You see the top area around 14.15, the bottom area of that shelf's around 14-ish area. This little area here, right here, 13.90-ish, I guess, if you want to call it. Go back over pets now. We make great pets. I'm running to $20. He said, I got diamond hands. I got them diamond hands. So pets, if you're looking to trade pets. Overall movement up, we see upper shadow right here. We see where we gap down from a nasty collapse. We see also support. We also see they're coming back to where we are today, and what's above it, the 200-day moving average. So 3.5 is by far the top, in my opinion, that pets would get to if it gets up to 3.5 today. Watch for that continuation and move for tomorrow. Same kind of look as SIGA right now, where we're up above the kind of shelf from earlier in the day. So this could come back down and rest, say, around 260 at the bottom, 265, 270 at the top of it. I would say maybe overall, I don't see this falling off a lot like SIGA. I say we continue to kind of push, maybe move sideways for the rest of the day, maybe get a pullback here and there. I see this kind of movement with movement up and clear room to move up, possibly to 3.5 area tomorrow if this continues to hold and stays above 2.6, 2.7, 100%. Blocks T, slower mover of the group, the slowest mover of the group. If we finally squeeze, get out of this 220 area, team, I would say watch for move up. If I can move this in a little bit right here, I'd say around the 240-ish area. 240 up to about 255 is where you'd look for a pullback, or say pullback, a push overall for box D. If we get over this 225 area, it's got legs up to about 235 to 245, team. So play that every 15, 20 cents or so. Box D is going to have support and resistance. Then going to build these maybe micro 10, 15 cent areas in between. So box D underneath the blue line of support and the VWAP especially. I see this back under 2 and probably closing at 1.9. We stay above the blue line. This obviously is closing above 205, but not alone that, I bet it does squeeze in by end of day if we do hold 205. Last but not least, the rhythm of the night where the dancers are having a lot of fun. We're going to go over to RYTM and go over rhythm. Scroll back in here a little bit to kind of show you these micro areas. You can tell, for the most part, generically, this orange line is held up as a resistance area as we're trying to move back up. That under this 820 area, as Alex Vaughn just talked about, and especially 8, this is where this dumps off even more and probably gets a nice big backside movement for power hour. Now, if we don't get that $8 crack, especially back to the VWAP in or before power hour, and we hold above that into power hour, you can probably bet your bottom dollar that this may get a squeeze and move up to new high of day and probably test 865, 875 area. If this continues to hold, like a lot of these, you'll have a chance to possibly push to new high of day. The more you hold, the more these want to squeeze. Traders will see this as bullish, not bearish. Any last questions and comments or concerns? Anything else you have to go over, team? Let me know right now. SIGA new high of day, top stock to watch. RYTEM moving up a little bit here as well. cat's over here playing. I don't know if you hear him. Yeah. Hey, can y'all stop playing? That's just both of them. They're down here playing. They play with each other. They're cutest little brothers. Doc and McFly. See if I can show you guys. Boom. They'll sit in these. It's like a double bed, and you can barely probably both see them laying together. Here, I'll make this bigger so you can see them. Just playing together. Being brothers. They love each other. I say we are just brothers in love. Definitely like stepbrothers. I mean, it's like, what can we build and break today? What can we make mom and dad angry with today? It's like that. Is it y'all just wake up every day just looking to ruin our lives? Like, not really. I mean, I love them to death, but it is about like that sometimes. It's like, cat brothers. Instead of stepbrothers, cat brothers. It's the same thing. It's just cat brothers. It's be way better than cats. If you like cats, I'm sure you may like the musical. The movie I heard was horrendous. But they play with each other. They just kind of meow and paw and play with it. So they're cute. They're cuties. Cutie patooties. Got my wife's shirt on today. The only reason I still wear this, I mean, I know kind of weird for her. It is kind of not the prettiest of shirts. It just is so nice and soft. Keeps me cool in these hot months. Another trillion-degree day down south here. The old shut up juice. So that was what that juice is called too, by the way. I say juice, but it's like the sauce. And by the way, that sauce, back to the links earlier that I did put in for you guys. The shut up juice or whatever. There you go. Oh man, I'm telling you, this place right here, team, is where I get my barbecue. This is where I work. Right here. This is where I worked. You want to let's see where AK worked? My mouth is just like. Anywho, I tasted a tooth, so here's where I used to serve them sandwiches. Oh, they're so good. Yeah. Anyway, so the shut up juice team. I had it on toothpick once. I'd be big boy. I'm gonna try it. Cool. I gotta at least try it. I had it on a toothpick team. It took my breath away. Toothpick work. Dipped it in. No, okay. I mean, it was one of those ones too where it kind of hits you instantly, and then about a minute in. You literally shut up. Like I couldn't hardly talk. I could see why, but you have anything hot, you kind of see that a lot. It literally would kind of take your breath away. I could not talk though. Fifey keeps hitting 603 resistance. A nice big pullback there. Careful there, Siga. Careful there, SIGA. FFIE Fifey. We traded this last week. What do you think it breaks some? Oh yeah, see, so right here. Fifey's another one, kind of like these recent ones that have a lot of room to move up. BKU, if it can get over this area. It just hasn't yet. So if it gets over this area, 620-ish up to about 6.4, 6.5, it really could start rolling. Has a lot of room to run. And so 100% keep FFIE on watch. Now, if it ever cracks below $5, that's when I say it starts kind of really fading back off and maybe becomes like a red box Siga Varu where it kind of starts becoming a little choppy or gets back up and kind of becomes a big flag or wedge overall. But 100% keep on watch. Maven, I don't know if you answered it earlier. Maven, if you're listening, is that a JK or a JT? It looks like a Jeep, though. Maven the Raven. Is that a Jeep? And if it is it a JK or JT? Renard, I recently started following Beard Meats Food that does food challenges. Oh, there you go. All right, Renard. It's captivating. It is a Jeep. I just thought it was. I just make sure. I'm a big Jeep guy. Come on. Just want to make sure. Got to make sure here. Yeah, nice pullback from the SPY. Getting underneath this 380-ish area that I talked about earlier. Watch for a little bounce, possibly. This would be the main area that I'd look at, 378.75. I got to see the Jeep, man. If you don't want to show it off, you don't have to, but I just want to make sure. But yeah, love some Jeeps. Still waiting for my 392. I cannot wait to get the 392 in. I was hoping to get it in to take it to Florida, and that just is not going to probably happen. That means I got to get it in less than a month. I've only put, which is crazy, team, on my Grand Cherokee. I've only put like 2,300, 2,200 miles on it since I've gotten my new one, the Grand Cherokee. But yes, I cannot wait for the 392. Speaking of the JKs or JTs or Wranglers, Maven, I am so pumped. Any day. It'd probably still be like, I get it like in December. The ship date's supposed to be July 17th, but we'll see. That's 4 days from now. I'll wait till the 18th to text my old Zip Dog and old Zip Dog's in chat today. That's awesome. So Shibble's like, hey, I'm already all over it. That's hilarious. I wasted in Renard. All right, team. Any last questions, comments, concerns? Give you about 5 more minutes here. I do have a session coming up here in about 25 minutes from now, so I do want to take a little bit of a break before that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up now. It is a little bit slower. I think we all can kind of see that. Instagram, YouTube team, I will upload a new lesson today over on both that I have been wanting to put out for a while that I have recorded that I didn't realize I didn't have out. So I have a new lesson out. I'll put the link for that up there later. There is my Instagram, though, and my YouTube, so go over there and follow both of those. If you need any help, let me know on those. Otherwise, I try to do my best breaking those down in those, especially over on YouTube. So watch my lessons over there, team. I do my best, like the most recent one's the Thanos crossover. So I do my best trying to break it down as best I can. But if you have any questions, DM me, hit me up in chat, hit me up on my Instagram, wherever to ask me questions you have about any of those. Spy, here we go, team. So let's see if it holds up here. Here's this area trying to pull. No, here's the area right here. So here's the 378.75 trying to hit right now down to the shelf. This would be the bottom area. If this bottom area does not hold at 378, say 378 on the dot, this is going to really start dumping. Yeah, there we go, RYTM. I do notice this to the right. It's really starting to pull back here a little bit more. I'd say for any of those interested, I'm telling you right now, if you are in RYTM, right now, team, be very careful with still maybe maintaining bullishness, and I would take up some profit here around the $8 area. If this gets back down to the $8 area, look to take a little bit of profit off the table at $8 for RYTM Rhythm. Aaron. Literally, right? Yeah, it's about on the dot. Everything has been pulling back here over the last few minutes. Pretty funny to see. Right at the top of the hour. All right, team. I'm done. Seems like we're done for the day. I'm gonna watch the SPY a little bit with you guys over to the side. I think the top four stocks to watch are what exactly we just saw, and I just went over. So moving forward, just so you guys know, pets. I'm gonna go with SIGA. I'm going with BoxD. I'm going with RYTM. Top 4 penny stocks to watch for movement. That's down or up. That is down or up. Movement for Power Hour today. SPY also on watch as others that move with it. Vegeta, no, my friend, you are the best. So thank you all for coming over today. Treetop Josh, Alex Vaughn, Vegeta, G Calante, Joey K, AA Ron Wags, Renard, all for coming over today. Maven the Raven, G Calante, BKU, Be Right. Thank you guys for coming over. Swole Granny, thank you guys for coming on over here today. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. Renard, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Fly on the wall. You're welcome. Tomorrow, team, don't forget, I will do some morning commentary, so I will be back. I'll get my live stream up around, probably around 15 minutes or so before the opening bell. Not 15 minutes, about 45 minutes before the opening bell. Go live about 15 to 20 minutes before the opening bell. So about essentially, what's that, 8:45 Eastern time tomorrow, or 8:45 Eastern time AM. I'll have my live lobby up, do live commentary tomorrow for at least an hour and a half. Try to get some live trades in with you guys. So, gotten a little more preparation in the last 3 days. Definitely get some more trades in tomorrow with you. So tomorrow morning, do some morning commentary for sure. So I'll see you all tomorrow morning if you want to come over. I know Deck will be going live as well, but I will be as well, on top of the fact. So if you want to come on over, let's do it. Paola, nice to see you as well, man. Paola, nice to see you. Be Right. Thank you all for coming over. Have a good rest of your day. Lost boys, lost girls. Until tomorrow morning, I'll be around the rest of the day. I'm not going anywhere. I do have a session here in about 22 minutes from now, so I'm not going anywhere. So don't worry about that. It is going to be a done day, though, for me as far as alerting and commentating, though. I'll try to get maybe some extra alerts out if I do see anything moving, though, is my point. Otherwise, I'll see you all back here for tomorrow morning. Lost boys, lost girls. See you then. Let's get it. 3, 2, 1. It's like the dogs. They know the countdown. So I just wanted to do that and see if they'd come running in here. You know the 3, 2, 1, Bears? Bangarang! gang! See y'all back here tomorrow, team. Hold the gun, hold the gun. And my boy, Kevin SB, my boy D. Sarley. What about Sean Worrell? I can't forget Swole Granny. Where's Dippy at? Where's Sniz? Where's all my... Miss Boss, I can't forget her. Never. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
Yeah.